From Las Lomas High School, it's the Las Lomas Knights against the Alhambra Bulldogs. And welcome to Walnut Creek TV High School Football. I'm Anthony Schultz along with Dan Wall. The Alhambra Bulldogs visit the Las Lomas Knights tonight. And Dan, even though both teams are 1-3, that's the bad news. The good news is the season starts really tonight as we get into league play. And for Alhambra, they've got a coach of 3 years, and Coach Hearn has been here. Dave Silvera was here since the Eisenhower administration.
I think it was back that far.
Still part of this, and a lot of cohesion. All the coaches on the team right now have been with the Bulldogs, and even though they're 1-3, Dan, an upbeat mood for the guys in Martinez.
Well, they know they have one really big stud player in Taylor Poyadu, the running back. He's a returning all-league player, but talking to Coach Hearn this week, I sensed he's a little happier with his team, even though they're 1-3, because they had to travel and play some tough teams up in the Santa Rosa area, and we'll talk a little bit about that during the game. But he felt a little bit more like his team was coming together, and that they have this now starting league, he's on a good run. Now we'll talk about Las Lomas.
Yeah, and Las Lomas is a little bit different. Of course, they're 1-3 as well. Coach Longero, as you told me earlier, none too happy with the performance against crosstown rival Northgate. Now, things a little bit sour, but you look at them last year, Dan, they won 9 games. They won a playoff game. It's pretty typical Las Lomas, isn't it?
Well, this is one of the most successful programs in the last 12 years around here. So I think you should actually give us credit, because right around when we started televising in Walnut Creek, the Las Lomas got really good. They won 3 North Coast Section championships. They won an East Bay championship. They're always a winning team. You see 1-3, it's a little deceiving. There was a Foothill and a Bishop O'Dowd on the schedule were powers, but last week was the week that really sent him off. He told me in our talk that he really wasn't game planning for a specific opponent. He was game planning to get his team back to where they need to be to win.
Yeah, well, everything starts anew tonight. DFAL season starts right here tonight, and we'll have it for you right after this.
Parking made easy and convenient.
You're good to go.
Now that was easy.
Hi, welcome to Inside Center Rep.
My name is Carrie Lederer, and I'm the curator of exhibitions here at the Bedford Gallery.
Hi there. Welcome to Get Lit.
And that's when I decided to run for the city council.
This is so exciting.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Walnut Creek Television presents high school football. It's the Alhambra Bulldogs and the Las Lomas Knights. Anthony Schultz along with Dan Wall. And Dan, it looks like a pretty nice night tonight. Not too cold, not too windy. And there you see the Las Lomas Knights. And Dan, a couple of teams that we said in the open, 1-3, but everything starts brand new right here tonight.
And we're going to send it down to the field for the national anthem. We'll be back to preview the game after this.
All right, there's the national anthem. The referees for tonight's game: Don Hubbard, Patrick Wells, Scott Dunnigan, Fernando Russell, and Richard Broad. And again, Dan, as we get set to start this game, we talked about it in the open a little bit. Now, as we get into DFAL play, I'm thinking we're going to see a different Las Lomas Knights team than we saw in the non-conference schedule.
Well, according to Doug Longero, we better, or they'll be on a 30-mile run after the game.
They're going to be running a lot of sprints. They're going to be running marathons. Tony Schultz and Dan Wall with you right here on Walnut Creek TV, getting set to start. You see the Alhambra Bulldogs in their travel white with the blue and that burgundy and gold. Always look really nice with the numbers just pop off those jerseys like that for Las Lomas.
Like Liberty, Lions wear the same colors.
Looking good.
By the way, and USC obviously, just by looking at the sidelines, Alhambra looks a little bigger. Just a little bigger. Even though Las Lomas has Derek Stom, who goes 280 and is getting some college looks, Army in particular. But just looking here. As a matter of fact, the kicker for Alhambra is a very big boy.
All right, Hugo Paredes getting set to tee it up, and here we go. And this ball game's underway. Hits one of the up end, but it's caught. Taken near midfield and scampers to the 50-yard line. And, boy, that was number 24, and that was Connor Speck, who really made a nice catch there, Dan. Here is that Las Lomas offense. Adam Wood at quarterback, Kyle Hill and Josh Jacobson in the backfield. Brayton Milner and Robbie Au are the wide receivers. Across the line, it's Miller, Wolf, Nevis, Stom, Tyler Derrick, and Connor Sanson. We'll get that defense to you after this first play. First and 10 at midfield, a good starting point here for the Knights. Handoff, left side, stacked up there pretty nicely. Maybe a yard gain, and that's all. And here is that Alhambra defense after that run by Hill. Miguel Lara, the defensive end who also made that tackle. Cameron Parhar is the nose guard. Cyrus Caesar is the tackle. Linebackers are Pierce, Archuleta, Ethan Little, and Matt Brady. And in the defensive backfield, Malik Thomas, Hardis Abdurrahman, Nick Rivetta, and Taylor Poyadu.
I think you got one of those two right, Tony. Poyadu, yes. But even the coach, Coach Hearn, when I said Abdurrahman, he said, whatever. He doesn't even know how to pronounce it.
So that was actually, they marked it as a 5-yard gain. Good second effort that time. Go around the end. Robbie Au cuts it up the inside. He's gone. Robbie Au, he is tackled from behind, but he gets all the way down to the 22-yard line. And Malik Thomas made the tackle, and I thought Au was gone. And Poyadu also involved in that play. Here's a look.
Well, look, it's a little reverse handoff on the option, and a big nice block on the outside, another nice block. It's like you always say, you know why those you get all these fancy announcers? I'm not that fancy. You know why that play worked? Because there was more blockers than there were tackles.
Well, they had the nice seal to the inside and a seal to the outside. And Robbie Au with that speed, I really thought it was going to be a touchdown. First and 10 for the Knights. Handoff. Left side, escapes a tackle, and then gets out inside the 20, down to about the 16. That was Hill on the carry, and another nice gain for Las Lomas.
You'll see this on the left side. The Las Lomas line just collapsed the Alhambra defensive line if we have a replay of that play. If not, you might remember the play that we had, and you'll see that that's why that gain was there. Here we go. Now watch this whole side of the line right here. Collapse, collapse. Look at that. There's no one there.
Well, you saw the guard pull around the tackle, Dan, and really get a nice leveling block.
And then Poyadu came up and made the tackle.
Second down and 7. Second down and 3 after a 7-yard gain. They tried to go the right side and tripped up that time, and it looks like it was number 54, Joe Pierce, who came up and made a nice tackle. So
but there was another hole that time, and it took it's very simple. If your defensive line makes the tackle, you don't get much. If your linebackers have to make the tackle, you get a little. If the corners and safeties are making the tackle, you're moving the ball right down the field.
That's a little too sophisticated. You have to slow down.
I know it's tough, Tony, for us. But
well, a 2-yard gain on that last play. 3rd down and 1 for the Knights. Handoff coming straight up the middle, and it should be enough for a first down. And number 21, Kyle Hill on that first down run. So a new set of downs and a pair of first downs here on this drive for the Knights. And really that first play on the opening kickoff, Dan, when Connor Speck made that catch, that was actually a very nice play. I think we should get a little more
Well, that could have been a disaster, Tony. But obviously, even though they said they weren't really game planning for Alhambra, they were just game planning to get back to where they were. they've obviously seen something because they basically just ran off tackle the first 5-6 plays of this game, and they've went down and gained 48 yards.
So this is a first
42
and goal.
yards, excuse me.
First and goal situation now from the dog 8-yard line. Man in motion coming out here. I formation. Now they split into the two-back set. Throw and a little rainbow for the near side. Touchdown, Las Lomas! And that is going to be Brayton Milner, number 18, on the reception. So from 8 yards out, it's a touchdown for Las Lomas, and the Knights on the board first.
Well, that was just a simple little fade pattern into the left end zone corner. And Brayton Milner has got one of those things you can't teach, Tony.
Height.
There you go. And you can obviously see there, right there, that was not a good matchup for Alhambra. And they're going to have to pay attention to that as they move forward because that was a simple touchdown play, and the kick is good.
And Hardis Abdurrahman was actually in very good position that time, but he just could not outleap the tight end, and the touchdown is scored by the Knights. So they go 50 yards on the opening drive, and they lead it by a score of 7-0.
5 plays, Tony, 50 yards. I'm sure they're feeling a little bit better. Probably feeling a little bit better about themselves now after last. And that's what you want to do. And I guarantee you, I didn't see the coin flip. But you know, all the rage now is to give the ball away.
Yeah,
I guarantee you he wanted the ball. He wanted something positive to happen because you didn't want to go out on defense and then have them score and you go, oh, no. They went right down the field. They're feeling better. And now we'll see what Taylor Poyadu and the boys can do on the Alhambra side of the ball.
Yeah, I would still have to feel with just the whole reputation of Las Lomas football, Dan. Even a bad record, I wouldn't think would get these guys too down because they know they've got some talent. And they know they have a good history.
Well, remember, too, that they played. There's Doug Longero, the Riverboat Gambler. We coined that phrase back at DVC in 2002 or 3 when they won the championship in triple overtime. And he's a really good guy to talk to. 14th year here. Seems like he just started.
Mitchell Howard on the approach, and this is a good high end-over-end kick. Going to come down at about the 2-yard line to the 5, to the 10. Escapes. Gets to the outside, 20, 25, across the 30, cuts it back inside the 35, and down at the 36-yard line. So about a 32-yard gain there. And it looked like it was Taylor Poyadu on that return. A nice job there. And here's that Alhambra offense. Costa is the quarterback, Leo Costa, Taylor Poyadu, Julian Archuleta, Nick Rivetta, Grant Hill are the wide receivers, and across that front line, it's going to be Ethan Little, Joe Pierce, Julian Navarro, Anthony Slaney, Miguel Lara, and Cameron Parhar. The men up front for the Dogs will have that Las Lomas defense in just a moment.
And actually, Josh Evans is in as the starting quarterback.
And boy, here's one breaking out across midfield, 45. Can they chase him down? They can, but he's going to get inside the 35, down to about the 32-yard line. Kyle Hill able to come up there and make the tackle. And Poyadu with a big run to start off the Dogs.
Off the left side, just kind of found a Hill, slashed through, avoided a tackler. And Hill with the speed to chase him down at about the 36-yard line. But there's a battle of – and we saw that on the other side too. Poyadu made a lot of the tackles for Alhambra, and now Hill is forced to make the first tackle, and he's the running back on the opposite side. So a lot of runs getting into the backfield here.
So here's that I formation, a wide receiver to either side, pro set. Here for the Dogs, handoff. And it looks like it's the same play off to the left side. 20, cuts it back into the 15. He's going to be hit and dropped at about the 10-yard line. So another big run. Looks like the same play back-to-back times. And Kyle Hill came up and made the tackle. But here we go for Alhambra, Dan, trying to answer that first touchdown by Las Lomas.
2 carries, 55 yards. So Poyadu's on for about 440 yards. He's on a pace for it, Tony, if he keeps running like this.
So goal-to-goal situation here as Josh Evans under center right at the 10-yard line. And again, a couple of yards here on first down for Poyadu. And Garrett McGough, number 3, came up to make the tackle for Las Lomas. And a short gain that time, it'll bring up 2nd and goal.
Alhambra, Poyadu looks like not only is he explosive with speed, but he also looks like he's got a little power in him too. And he's going to be a handful for Las Lomas tonight. It looks like their line is big, and they're making some holes for him. And once he gets outside, he can just run right by guys.
2nd down and goal just inside the Knights' 10-yard line. Both wide receivers split here to the near side. Split backs in the backfield. Pitch, left side, but caught in the backfield. Nothing doing that time. And it looked like it was Ben Wood, number 13, the 190-pound sophomore, who was able to get into that backfield along with Adam Wood, number 9.
Well, Adam Wood's his brother. So I was just going to point out the two brothers, one a senior, one a sophomore. Good read that time, coming up off his defensive end spot. They actually list him as an end. They run a 4-3 with 2 ends, 2 tackles. Alhambra runs a 3-4, and they actually list a nose guard, a tackle, and an end. So just different philosophies. It usually ends up in high school. You have 7 or 8 guys around the line of scrimmage and 3 deep unless you can really throw the ball.
That was Grayson Bromstad actually helping out on that tackle on that last play. 3rd down and goal now from the 11. Fake the pitch, back to pass, throws, caught, and not much room over there on that far side. And the catch made there by Nick Rivetta, number 3, but he's taken down very quickly, and it's going to be 4th down. And let's see, no field goal unit? I don't think so. Here's that short pass again.
Well, look at Wood played that perfectly. If you saw that, he got blocked outside, stopped, knowing it looked like a screen pass or a short pass had been set up, and he got his hand on that ball, and that prevented the ball from going in the end zone.
And Hugo Paredes is going to try a field goal here of about little more than 25 yards. Snap, hold, kick is up, kick is good. And Paredes tacks on 3. So, Dan, the drive stalls a little bit once they got the goal-to-goal situation down to the 10-yard line, but they get the 3 points.
It looked like they were going in, Tony, and they kind of stalled down there in the red zone, which is a very important place now in football. You know, that was one of the 49ers' problems all last year. They'd get down close, couldn't get in the end zone. That's why it's nice to have a guy like David Akers, of course. In high school football, I don't think you can reply. David Akers, the kicker.
I thought it was another name.
No, it's Akers.
It is.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're thinking of Nedney. He's gone.
Joe Nedney,
See, you're
right.
a Rams fan.
Right.
You don't care. You messed me up, Tony. Anyway, I was just saying in high school football, you cannot rely on your kicking unless you have an All-America style kicker. But Paredes put that one up there. A lot different kicking game than we saw 3 weeks ago with Antioch and Northgate, which was basically squib kicks and onside kicks and not much going down the field.
All right, Paredes getting set to line it up now. So a possession for both teams and a score for both teams. So after one touch each for the offenses, it's 7-3. And Deion Walker dropped back deep for Las Lomas. Paredes kind of shortens up here, hits a squibber, picked up at the 35 and just dropped on it. And that was number 18, Brayton Milner, who looked like he had some room to run down, but I think he might have kind of fumbled that ball a little bit and wanted to make sure he didn't lose it.
And sometimes there's some people that they just say, if you get it, I'm sure in your football career you would have been like that. They would have said, just fall down, Tony. We don't need you running.
Oh, I had speed, Dan. No talent, but I had speed.
Did you?
From the 36-yard line for the Knights. Lone back. Al coming in motion. He's going to get the handoff. He cuts it up inside, gets the block, crosses the 40, and gets down to the 42-yard line. So Robbie Al, that same play, Dan, finding more room. And across the 40, they're going to mark this at the 44-yard line. So he picks up 8 yards on that play. And that'll bring up second down.
They had 2 tight ends in on that play, a little bit more blocking along the line. They brought in Wood to go along with Milner and opened up a nice hole for an 8-yard gain.
Second down and 2, operating from their own 44-yard line. Again, the single setback, 3 wide receivers. Here comes Al again in motion. They're not going to give it to him this time. They're going to run all tackle left side, find a little room, escapes a tackle across midfield, and down to the 47-yard line. Nick Rivetta came up to make the tackle. And that's another nice gain for Grayson Bromstad, number 22, coming out of that lone setback. And the Dogs have really got to watch Al going around that other side.
Well, that was what opened up this hole coming back to the left, is everyone was concerned with Al going on that fake, little fake handoff on the end around, and he came back this way and picked up another nice gain. So they're getting holes, and they're getting nice chunks of yardage here.
Yeah, 6-7 yards on that last play. Back to pass, looking near side. Pass is caught. And it's going to be over the 45-yard line down to the 44. Ben Wood making the catch. And he's got some good yardage over there, about 5 yards on that play. And it'll bring up second down. You see that, Dan? No pressure. And on that short drop, you can see where the lineman really had the defensive lineman contained, where they couldn't jump up and take away a passing lane.
And they went to the sideline, which is one of the harder throws to make, but Wood looked like he made it very easily. And it wasn't a hard pattern. It was just a little out pattern. So they're keeping it simple.
I formation. Tight end on the right side. We're going to go here to the left side, and not as much room this time, Dan. Just a couple of yards as they unpile. And that was number 21, number 21, Kyle Hill, the 185-pound senior. And Hill is going to get to the 40-yard line. Going to leave him a couple of yards short. It'll bring up third down.
What a beautiful night here. It was about 11 years ago to this week that we did our first game here. And you remember, Tony, back in the day, they didn't have the press boxes on the other side in the old Las Lomas configuration before they built the beautiful new stadium.
I do not remember that. I think that was a pre-Tony era. Handoff, cuts it up inside, going to pick up the first down. How about that job by Hill that time, Dan, where the room really wasn't there. He was patient, made the cut, and picked up the first down.
Yeah, that was one of the first times you could really say that Kyle Hill made the yardage as opposed to his blockers. You can see a couple of guys. They're going to have to start bringing some guys up, Tony, to the line of scrimmage, because if they're not going to get him at the line of scrimmage, you could see on that play they brought up a linebacker, and the corners are playing a little closer because they haven't thrown yet, but you know what that means. It just opens up the passing game eventually.
Well, they've thrown that one pass and completed it. 4 wide receivers spread from the 35-yard line, first down. Little screen pass tipped off the hands of the intended receiver, and that was very close, Dan. That ball was in the air a long time.
That was a little circle screen back inside, and that's a dangerous pass because the ball has to be thrown where a deflection can go into the defensive backfield.
Rocco's Restaurante and Pizzeria, thanks so much for the crew meal and all their support. And Dan, that combination pizza tonight?
It was very good.
Delicious.
It's always very good. Good
In
stuff.
the mood for pizza, it's Rocco's Restaurante and Pizzeria.
Yes.
All right, so that pass goes awry. Second down and 10. And still at the dog 35-yard line. 3:26 to go, first quarter, and what has been an exciting first quarter of play. Man in motion coming to the near side. Wood back, short drop, fires, and it catches made. That's going to be close to first down yardage, and that is going to be number 21, Zach Folks, who really reached up there, Dan, and made a nice catch. He didn't have a whole lot of room.
Well, this one extended the defense a little farther than the last one. Just an out pattern, again, you can see, but this one thrown a little farther towards the sideline, and a nice catch. And he's out of bounds about the 28. It's going to be 3rd and 3, Tony, but Las Lomas, this looks like the Las Lomas team we've always seen.
Boy, he had Miguel Lara bearing down on him, too, but Folks was still able to haul that one in. 3rd down and 3. They need the 25. Handoff right up the middle, and that is going to be a first down. 22 is Grayson Bromstad, the 175-pound junior, Dan, and he's able to plow ahead for close to 5 yards, and that'll make it another Las Lomas first down.
You can see a little counter handoff. Runs off the left side once again. Some big boys on that Alhambra line, but they're getting blocked very effectively by the and you got to imagine, and you can see him right there, number 53, Derek Stom, the left guard. They're going to run behind him tonight. He weighs 280, but he doesn't look it. He's in very, very good shape and a very strong kid.
Here's Wood rolling to his right. Plenty of time. Fires for the sideline. It's caught near the 15-yard line, and that'll be a first down to Robbie Owl, and that is going to make it a goal-to-go situation. There's Doug Longero. Got to be very pleased as to what's happening here so far tonight.
Are those some sort of reverse in fortune shoes or something?
Wow. Doug. Well, they kind of match, but
what?
Kind of go with the outfit, with the gold. I mean, the gold.
Well,
but
they're more like banana
bright.
yellow, I guess.
Yeah. All right, ball is just outside the 10, about the 12, so they can get a first down about the 2. Left side, plowing toward the goal line, inside the 5, down to the 4-yard line, and that's Kyle Hill again. 8 yards on that play, and now it will be goal to go.
I wonder if this is an NFL game, if they would have thrown a 15-yard penalty on him for his helmet getting knocked off. Did you see that?
They are, yeah. They're getting pretty touchy about stuff like that.
But it got knocked off.
Yeah.
You have to take it off.
Yeah, they just apparently saw it at the very end when it was already coming off and figure he threw it.
I think we have our officials out here in the high school are doing a fine job compared to the replacement officials.
Second down and 2, handoff, and stopped at the line of scrimmage, and that is number 54 on the tackle. That is Joe Pierce. And Bromstead really could never get started that time, Dan, because This time the Dogs had some players in the backfield.
Well, that time number 54 for Alhambra, Joe Pierce, pretty much put up a wall right at the line of scrimmage, and there was nothing doing. There you see him. See?
And also number 77, Cameron Parhart, got into the backfield and really kind of helped to mess up that play. Third down. And still get a first down here, left side, and they are in for the touchdown. Touchdown, Las Lomas. And that is Kyle Hill going over from the 4-yard line. And the Knights on the board again, Dan. And this time, Dan, they go 64 yards for the score. They threw it a couple of times, completed a couple.
Well, as we said, that'll open up as you run, but they're still very effective on the run so far in this game.
All right, Mitchell Howard now on to attempt the point after. Snap, the hold, the kick is up, and the kick is good. So Howard made that with a whole lot to spare. He looked like he could really bang him from way out. And we talked about it earlier, Dan. Las Lomas always seems to come up with good place
They always
kickers.
have good kickers. They had a guy, I got to remember his name. The first couple years we were here, we actually gave him his name that it's still his nickname to this day, kind of like Steve Linigan from College Park, who to this day tells me whenever he sees me. Sure. Let's take a look at the touchdown, Tony.
So good work by that Las Lomas offense, Dan. They've had the ball twice. They've scored twice. So now it's another chance here for Alhambra. Now, Alhambra put together a pretty nice drive of their own, Dan. They got they started at the 35-yard line, got all the way down to about the 10-yard line.
But we saw that
stalled.
it was Poyadu most of the time, whereas Las Lomas has a very balanced offense. So that's kind of the story so far, is Poyadu and his yardage versus Las Lomas, even though Kyle Hill is the leading rusher so far and has scored a touchdown. But I think at least Las Lomas is happy where they are. They look like they're back playing the kind of football we're used to seeing from them.
All right, kickoff, high end over end, and this one is going to go into the end zone, hitting just past the goal line. So how about that for Mitchell Howard? Able to launch that one, and then Alhambra will start from the 20.
I remember the kid's name now. His name was Richie Spidell. And so Steve Sanchez, you remember him back in the day, he called him Spidelman. And then he'd sing the song every time he go out to kick a field goal. And he got
That's funny.
Spidelman. So, and they've had a couple of guys actually go on. Andrew Shapiro is at Fresno State right now as a kicker. By the way, Morgan Breslin's at USC, Jason Welch, the great wrestlers at Northwestern, and Corey Paclabar's at Hawaii. Some guys that have come through this program that's won 3 North Coast Section championships in 02, 03, 05, and East Bay championship in 07.
All right, the Dogs now from their own 20-yard line. Handoff. Trying to go left side, and that one's stacked up pretty well by the Knights defense. And we'll see who's getting off the pile there. That's number 24, Connor Speck. And Poyadu trying to get outside there, or just going off tackle. And Poyadu there to make the stop.
So far, their offense has been Poyadu left side. That's basically been the running calls that they've had. First drive, first 3 plays, this drive here.
All right, a 2-yard gain on that last one. 2nd down and 8. Tick down under 40 seconds to go on the I formation. Evans rolling to his right. Under some pressure now. Continues to roll. Now he's going to run with it. And he's going to go out of bounds at about the 29-yard line. Let's see where they mark that. And very close to the 30. That'll be very close to a first down. About 6-7 yards on the play. It'll bring up 3rd down and short.
You could see on that defensive formation, Tony, they're basically daring them to pass. They brought up everyone on the line and 3 guys about 5 yards back and basically said throw the ball. Did a good job defensively. That's the first play of the drive. The second play, then of course, Evans had some room outside to run and made a nice run. Kind of looked like old Alex Smith on this play, getting outside and running.
3rd down and 1 here. 31 seconds to go, and a very exciting first quarter of action here in Las Lomas. You can see the Knights with everybody in the box now showing blitz. They come with it right up the middle. And boy, the Dogs didn't get there unless that second effort did get there. Boy, a good second effort by Poyadu. It looked like he was stopped after that blitz, but it looks like it will be a Bulldog first down. Nice job by Poyadu to not let that first man get him down, Dan, but use that second effort and pick up the fresh set of down.
That was an effort first down. Evans got the first 9 on the scramble. Poyadu on that play, broke a couple of tackles. But it's getting a little tougher for Alhambra on this drive. So Las Lomas has made an adjustment here.
It should be the last play if they're going to get it off. Alhambra in no hurry. Last couple of seconds, do they get it off? No, they don't. Now they're going to let them run this play, and the pass is going to be caught up to the 35 and out of bounds at about the 36, maybe the 37. I didn't think they got that one off, Dan, but Brantley Garcia makes the catch and a successful first down play, and that'll take us to the end of the first quarter, and we'll be back with the second quarter of action right here from Walnut Creek on Walnut Creek TV.
Last year, over 1,000 Walnut Creek locals lent a hand to build a better community. Join us again this year for Community Service Day on Saturday, October 6th. The day will kick off with a pancake breakfast at Heather Farm Park at 7:30 a.m. Then join one of 50 different projects suitable for children and adults happening all over the city starting at 9 a.m. or noon. Each project will take 4 hours or less to complete. Online registration is now open on the city's website. Go online now and find a cause you care for and lend a hand for a better Walnut Creek.
All right, back here in Walnut Creek at Las Lomas High School, right here on Walnut Creek TV. High school football for you. Anthony Schultz along with Dan Wall. The Bulldogs trying to mount a drive as the Knights lead it 14-3 as we start the second quarter of play. I formation, just short of their own 40. Dogs going right up the middle, going to pick up a first down here. Breaking away, 40, 35, straight arms, and is pulled out inside the 35. We're going to have what looks like a face mask at the end of the play. That was Taylor Poyadu, and Cole Gravitt made the tackle down, but I think he grabbed some face mask as well.
Well, someone did, because I know Poyadu had a little stiff arm going there, but I think it was and the tackle was made with a face mask, a 15-yard penalty in high school football. This is going to give Alhambra some good scoring position. Here's a replay. You'll see the second effort by Poyadu after he's hit right past the line of scrimmage here. He breaks a tackle, gets outside, and then it's just him against number 5 for Las Lomas, Cole Gravitt. Oh, yeah, you can see that. Might have even been the mouth guard might have slipped out. Have you ever had that? A mouth guarding penalty. Anyway, in the first quarter, Milner, a 9-yard pass from Wood, made it 7-0. Alhambra kicked a 26-yard field goal. Paredes made it 7-3, and then Hill the 4-yard run. And that's where we're at right now, 14-3, Las Lomas.
Well, that last play was a net 42 yards with the run and the penalty. So from inside the 20-yard line at the 18, here's Evans. Fake, goes around the right side. He's got room. Evans down the sideline. And it looks like Evans is going to go out of bounds inside the 5. And he's going to get all the way down to the 2-yard line. So 16-yard run on that scamper. That was a pretty good-looking fake there. Kind of faked me out. It certainly faked out the Knights.
That reminded me of the old Vince Young in the Rose Bowl. And Vince Young's had a bad week. Vince Young in the Rose Bowl when he played for Texas against USC, the winning touchdown. That was that exact kind of fake naked bootleg out to the right side.
One of the greatest games I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was a great game.
All right, should be first down and goal. After that 16-yard scamper, first down and goal from the 2. And a 4 wide receiver spread. Actually operating from the 4. Here's Evans trying to go up the middle, and he's going to be hit and stopped. First man to get to him was number 53, Derek Stom. He was able to come up and make that tackle and at least get a piece of him to keep Evans from going into the end zone. Evans looking pretty quick coming out of that backfield.
You know, it's too bad Derek Stom doesn't have an R in his name, because it should be Derek Storm, because just about everything he does, he's disrupting a lot of stuff, Tony. He's making tackles, hitting people, and storming a lot. So, you know, you can't really play off of that as much as Stom.
It doesn't have quite the ring to it.
No, I know.
I formation, second down and goal from the 1-yard line, handoff, trying to go up and over. And that is going to be Poyadu, and he is in for the touchdown. So Poyadu from a yard away And boy, this has just been an offensive showcase here. And remember, Dan, this drive starting at the 20-yard line, 80 yards on that drive for Alhambra.
Poyadu, 8 carries, 88 yards, and a touchdown so far here in the first roughly 14 minutes of play. Very similar to the game we did 3 weeks ago, Tony. Remember the first 2 drives, right up and down, and then all of a sudden the defense has started to take over. So we'll see how this one plays out.
Snap, hold, the kick is no good, wide left. Boy, plenty of leg, but no accuracy that time from Paredes as he does miss it. But still a very nice first quarter plus here. 14-9 our score. Both teams have touched it twice. Both teams have scored twice. But for the Dogs, a field goal and then a touchdown and a missed extra point. Dan has them down by 5 with 10:43 to go here in the first half. You're watching Walnut Creek TV.
Yes, you are. And you can watch on the internet, I found out. I watched our last game. YouTube? They put these on you. Oh, I can. Wow, I can call my friends around the world and have them, they can watch me.
Dan, you don't have any friends in Antioch.
That's true, but I do have a friend in Wisconsin. Anyway, the one night when we were on back when we went to do that game for Comcast Sportsnet, I get a call one night from a guy who goes, oh, hey, he's in Wisconsin. He goes, I'm watching on television right now.
Yeah, we were doing that game, right?
Yeah, that was at Pittsburgh. Who are the big shots from San Jose that I can't think of right now? No, it's not Oak Grove.
Bellarmine.
No, it's not Bellarmine. Valley Christian. There you go. I knew I'd get it. With all the brain power in this Dave Jackson, Tony Schultz, and me, you knew we'd get it eventually.
Not exactly a group of physicists in here, huh?
No.
Anyway.
I was going to say the religious guys.
That Paredes kick actually goes out of bounds this time. So the Knights going to take over at their own 35-yard line.
They've had pretty good field position, Tony, starting their drives.
Yeah, at the 50,
Alhambra started at like the 20 every time, but Las Lomas has started at the 50 and
36,
and
now at the 35.
That's pretty good.
That'll work.
The Raiders' average starting position last week was the 13-yard line.
Wow.
Not the Dolphins' 13-yard line.
Their own
13-yard line.
Looks like another rough year coming up for the Raiders. All right, Las Lomas now, 10:43 to go here in the first half of play. And Wood looks like he wants to go from the shotgun, or does he? Kind of directing traffic out there. And finally, having Grayson Bromstead settle in as the lone setback behind him. Man in motion, come to the near side. It's Al. Gets a kick out block, tries to turn the corner, but then is swarmed under by defenders. First one there looked like it was number 54, Joe Pierce. But he also had some help. Cyrus Caesar coming up there also to make the stop. And the Dogs had that one well sniffed out.
They did a good job on that one. But, once you start to see things and you start to feel tendencies and the blocking starts to happen, and then you see Al coming around, you kind of start to see that. The first time, you don't get it. You start to figure, but that's why now the offense has to figure out how to get you to not think I'm doing that and doing something else. You see how this is explained, Tony?
3-yard loss on the play. Wood, straight drop back, little hitch pass to the outside, caught at the 30, 35, trying to turn the corner to get to the 40, gets across the 40 to the 42. That was Robbie Al on the catch and the run, and making that catch off the pass from Wood. So not a good first down play, but a good second down play. And they get 10 yards, Dan, and it'll bring up a third down and a very manageable 3 yards.
And that's a tough play because you can't hit the guy while the ball's in the air. You got to wait till he catches the ball. So then they did a very nice job of just holding out until the ball was caught.
And I always like those kind of hitch passes, Dan. You got your guys that you want to get the ball to. Let's make it nice and simple. We can get them the ball and then let them just do what they do.
And if bodies match up, they can probably gain some yardage. That play worked.
Third down and 3, tight formation this time. Handoff to the left side, down the sideline for a momentarily, and then pushed out of bounds. Jose Gonzalez came up to make the stop, and it's Kyle Hill on the run, and he picks up the first down. So he gets out to the 49-yard line. So a big first down there for Las Lomas. And another nice gain for the Knights as they keep the chains moving here. And they'll set up shop just a yard from midfield. And a fresh set of downs for Doug Longero's crew. Coming in at 1-3, we talked about that. And losing to the crosstown rival. And, of course, he was not very fond of that. But let's give the Northgate Broncos some credit here, Dan. They are not the weak sister anymore. Wood back under some pressure. Hit as he throws, and it's going to be incomplete. Looking for number 13, Ben Wood. And it looked like Miguel Lara there in on defense to harass Wood into making that bad throw.
That's the dangerous play. That blindside hit coming on the quarterback.
West Coast Jamboree coming this December, and it'll be December the 27th through the 31st. The best in girls high school basketball. For more information, give us a call, 925-706-2802, or go to westcoastjamboree.com.
Dave Jackson told me he's trying to get the LA Sparks to come in and play the championship game. It's the biggest team he'd ever have there.
Well, it can be a whole lot of good teams from all over the place, the West Coast Jamboree. Wood rolls to his right, fires in and out of the hands of Al, and then he is shoved to the ground rather hard that time by Nick Rivetta, number 3. And Rivetta gave him a pretty good shove there at the end of that
dangers of
play.
being a wide receiver.
But Al has made some nice catches going up with his hands down and able to hold on, not this time with Rivetta bearing down on him.
Well, we got a chance, Tony. I want to let you know about Las Lomas' coaches. Doug Longero, his 14th year, the offensive coordinator and head coach. Dan Albana, the defensive coordinator. John Lollinger, who was a quarterback in one of those championship games we remember. Matt Hammock, Billy Ellis, Dax Harris, Joe Gelente, Rob Bunting, and Mark Emholt make up one of the better coaching staffs in the Bay Area.
Dax Harris sounds like he's from a soap opera.
I think he's on my soap opera, General Hospital.
Throws, and it's going to be in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. That's number Zach Folks coming out of the backfield. A little too much mustard on that for Zach, and he couldn't quite hold on. That will bring up 4th down. But Doug Longero, let's see what they do here, Dan. Still on their own side of the field, and a long way to go. Do you come out here and punt this one, or do you run a play here? I would say go out and kick this one, but
well, it's a weird one because you really, even if you get them to jump offside, you still have 4th and 6.
At least 4th and 5.
So, unless you can get them to do it twice, Tony, and then of course we'll have to see what plays out here. It looks like they're going to line up and go
for it here. Wood back with some time, throws. He's got it in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Brayton Milner, and he was in first down yardage. Dan had about a 15-yard gain and then maybe more with the run, but could not hold on.
A little medical work on the sideline for one of the Knights, but on that play, everything worked great. Great protection. He had time, made a great pass, and unfortunately, there's a final component in that, Tony, and you have to catch the ball.
Yeah, that one goes awry, so they roll the dice here, Dan, and come up goose eggs, and now from the Las Lomas 49 here with 8:59 to go, Alhambra takes over with their best field position so far of the evening. Evans still in at quarterback, hands off. They want to go left side. Poyadu bringing tackle, gets a block. Poyadu 40, 30, down the sideline 20. One man to beat, cuts inside at the 5. Touchdown Alhambra. Poyadu from 49 yards away. And the Bulldogs have their first lead of the game.
You see how quickly things can change, Tony. You go for it, you give them good field position because of a drop pass, and then Poyadu has great blocking out in front, and then he's just gone. So this is where the line comes in, his speed comes in, and then great vision here to make the cutback at the last second and get into the end zone for the touchdown.
Oh, what a great looking play that time for Poyadu. And how about that offensive line really collapsing the right side of the defensive front for Las Lomas. And now the Dogs going to go for 2 here, try to make up for that missed extra point earlier. Evans under center, I formation, going to fake it. Evans going to pass it, dumps it off, and he's got the 2-point conversion. It's Ethan Little, the senior, who makes the catch, and the 2-point conversion is good. And now with 8:49 to go, it's a 17-14 Dog lead. Yeah, we've got a great game here from Walnut Creek. How about that, Dan?
Lots of offense, lots of great play so far, a lot of running. Hill is doing a great job on his side for Las Lomas. Poyadu has got to be into the 130-yard range so far. 137 on 9 carries, Tony. So he's on pace for about a 300-yard game the way he's going.
Well, he comes up with a big play there, and then you talked about it, Dan. Las Lomas moving the ball a little bit. They come with that with 4th and long. They look like they get it. Can't hold on to the pass. Very next play, touchdown. 2-point conversion follows And just like that, the Dogs lead by 3.
Well, sometimes, that gambling stuff, it's just like anything else, Tony. Sometimes you go gamble, you win, you lose. It's that simple. That time they gambled and lost. Luckily, they have plenty of time to make it up.
Who kicks off here, taken, and then down the sideline, and they finally pushed out of bounds. Boy, that was number 18. There's Brayton Milner, who I believe dropped that pass on that last one.
But it's interesting. He's been in this game a lot. He got the touchdown pass. The last time they kicked to him, he just dropped to the ground. So maybe someone come up to him and said, hey, you're not one of the guys that has to drop to the ground.
Take another look here.
Look at this. He doesn't drop to the ground this time. He picks it up and goes. And he gained them another 15 yards with that to give them another great starting position.
So from the Alhambra 42-yard line, after that nice return by Milner, here go the Knights looking to reclaim the lead. Caught stacked up in the middle that time. And then quickly, Malik Thomas getting up off the tackle here as Hill had it. And maybe picks up a yard to about the 41, and that's all. It'll bring up second down. We'll call it 9.
Nice play that time by Thomas, who's a cornerback, who you don't normally expect to make the first hit in the middle of the line. So obviously they're letting their corners and perhaps their linebackers attack a little bit more. The way this game is going with the running, we haven't seen a lot of throwing.
Now you see it here, and Hill doesn't have anybody to cover. And he's kind of creeping in here up to the line of scrimmage right before the play starts. Handoff, they go up the middle. And Robbie Au ended up carrying the ball. And Nick Rivetta and Julian Archuleta coming up to make the stop.
So things have slowed a little for Las Lomas here. Alhambra with the momentum after basically running their last 2 offensive plays have been touchdowns. And what was a 14-3 game is now a 17-14 game.
And Las Lomas has taken a timeout, facing a 3rd down and long here, operating from their own 42-yard line. Local high school sports, do you want to be a part of seeing more local high school sports coverage on television? We need your help. Give us a call, 925-324-5313, or email us at cchighschoolsports@gmail. That's cchighschoolsports@gmail.
While we have an opportunity, Tony, let's talk a little bit about the Alhambra coaching staff. We mentioned Coach Longero and his staff. Alan Hearn in his 3rd year is the offensive coordinator and head coach. Jason Harrison, the defensive coordinator. Tom Azevedo, Rick Pierce, John Lucas, and Paul Wiebens, all former Bulldogs who all played for Coach Dave Silvera. Now, Dave Silvera in this area is kind of like a Bear Bryant. He was a guy that I read about for years before we ever – I think the first time we did an Alhambra game was around 2001. And he started in 7, so I read about him for 13, 14 years, knew his reputation, knew some guys. I actually played softball tournaments with some guys who played for him. John Costanza, an old Alhambra Bulldog, a quarterback, used to tell me about Coach Silvera. And turns out to be one of the nicer guys and one of the most knowledgeable guys, and he's still around the program helping out.
3rd down and long. They had 2 guys going in motion at one time, so the Knights not on the same page that time, and that is going to be in a legal motion penalty. Only one guy can move at a time.
Except in the CFL.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention, too.
Except in the one that nobody ever watches.
Okay. Oh, I watch that, actually. I like football. Coach Silvera, we want to congratulate him. At the end of this year, he'll be retiring as a teacher. So after all these years, going back into the 70s, his tenure at Alhambra is coming to an end. I bet you he still hangs around the football field a little bit, though.
Yeah, if they would put a statue out there in Martinez near that football field, it would certainly be of him. All right, 3rd down and 15. Just one man in motion this time. Going to the far side. Fake. Wood back. Throws to the far side. He's got a man wide open. Caught at the 20, 15, 10. Touchdown, Las Lomas. Boy, and it was number 20.
That was beautiful, Tony. That was a beautiful fake and just set everyone off. A little wheel route out of the backfield after the fake. That was beautiful. That's as pretty a high school pass as you're going to see. Both these kids can throw. It's not like they can't, but the running game has just been so good so far. But we've got a shootout, Tony. We're up to 2014 with 7:21 to go in the 2nd quarter.
That is a 47-yard TD catch by Folks coming out of the backfield on that wheel route, Dan. And now is Mitchell Howard to try to tackle on the point after. Snap, hold, kick is good. So no problems with that kicking game for Las Lomas, and they reclaim the lead at 21-17. 7:21 to go still in this first half.
I like games like this. I like, 49-48. I could even have overtime tonight. The wife's out of town. Let's play 2.
Sounding like Ernie Banks. There you see that score. Tony Schultz, Dan Wall, right here on Walnut Creek TV. So glad you could be with us tonight. Got Dave Jackson on the stats, had the full crew. Even got a Sam Gold who's going to try to help us out with some games here coming up in the future, attending tonight, see how everything's going. Matt Boliner running things downstairs. So thanks to everybody for their participation. Bruce Stam and Ron Carter.
I know we're going to have another game over here, but I'd have to check with Matt to see if I can release the actual time and date. Negotiations are still going on, but I believe we will have another game.
Well, Dan, your agent is tough.
My agent's very tough. You've heard of him, Vinny Vombots. And he demands some certain things like warm pizza.
Hey, you know what I'm talking about?
I know. Today's the first day I ever had warm pizza from Rocco's. Usually it's
my guy Dan Wall wants warm pizza, not cold. Huh?
Warm pizza and a little bit of money and a water. That's all I ask for.
Not too much. Yeah,
he sent a limo
He's
for
not
me
exactly
today,
a tough negotiator. All right, from the 40, the kickoff, boom. And this one is going to be taken and dropped into the end zone. That'll be a touchback. Poyadu, that's okay. That was a great Mitchell Howard. Oh, my.
For those of you that don't know, if the ball or the player it goes into the end zone, it's an automatic touchback in high school football.
Yeah, and that's, of course, Dan, is to prevent more of those special teams injuries. They don't want more of those plays.
Just like in the NFL where they've now prevented kickoff returns.
Which, it's great that they have the fewer injuries. But, boy, that kickoff is so boring.
It's boring.
It is so boring.
You should be able to return it from the section 204. I think that's how that should be the new rule. You can go up in the stands, get it, and still return it. What do you think, Tony?
Why not?
Okay.
Evans, back to pass, and then the draw play. But for the most part, the Knights were pretty much on that, Dan.
When they show draw plays in the future, that one won't be on the highlight reel. That was not the best drawn play.
It just looked like the Knights just weren't buying it that time. They were not just ear pinned back rushing the passer. They kind of all stayed in their lanes, and by the time Poyadu got the ball down, there just wasn't anywhere to go.
Well, usually on a draw play, something is set up to hold the line. That's why it's a draw play. That time it looked like the line was already through, and we're still trying to do a draw.
You want to make them believe pass, so they start rushing and getting out and get out of their run lanes. Didn't happen that time. Nope. So no gain on the play. Second down from the 20. Looks like Poyadu again running into that wall. So not much gain there, and a flag to come in, so we'll have to check the call.
We haven't called this much in our two games this year, but that was a line. That was pretty much a tackle made by most of the interior line.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to figure out who actually made it, that's pretty tough. That's really a team tackle right there. But this is going to be against the Bulldogs, and they're marking it off against Alhambra. Well, we still haven't started to mark it off.
Looks like it came from one of the linesmen, but it's a 10-yard penalty, so you know what that is.
We'll take it all the way back to the Dog 10-yard line. 21-17 here in the second
Illegal block,
quarter.
chop block on that play.
Illegal chop block. So that's when the defender is engaged and another offensive player.
I think in high school still you can't even hit below the knees.
Come in and chop it.
In what they call the blocking or clipping zone. You cannot hit below the knees. But it could be a chop block as well.
All right, second down and 20 from their own 10-yard line. Evans back to pass. Rolls to his right. Looking downfield, throws over the middle, and he's got a man wide open. Cross the 40, cross the 45, and tackled there. That is number 31, Jose Gonzalez. And, boy, he was wide open that time. Must have been a blown coverage.
Well, Dave Jackson could have made that catch. He was so wide open. I mean, there was no one. He actually caught the ball and looked around like, really? I'm this open?
35 yards all the way to the 45-yard line. And talk about a big play following the penalty for Alhambra.
Got him right out of trouble and right back to midfield.
So Evans to Gonzalez for 35 yards, a fresh set of downs for the Dogs. From their own 45, handoff. And up the middle, somebody lost a hat. Tackles will be made after a yard gain, and that was Poyadu again.
Bromstead, that's the second time he's lost his helmet. Hill lost it once, so.
Does that tell you, Dan, either they're not hooking up those chin straps or there's a lot of hard hitting out there?
There's just some hard hitting going on out there.
So they're going to give Poyadu 1 yard on that gain, on that last carry, Dan, to bring up second down and 9. Clock still rolling at 5:45 and counting here in a great first half from Walnut Creek. Three wide receivers spread, 2 to the near side, 1 to the far side. I formation behind Evans. Fakes. Rolls near side, throws, and up and over the head of number 24, Julian Archuleta. And boy, that ball just a little bit too high. Archuleta, that was going to have to be perfect for Archuleta to catch it before going out of bounds and to give him a chance to turn up that sideline.
That's a tough pass to throw. It requires a deft touch.
Yes. And also running, the right-handed quarterback, running to his left.
You might throw off the wrong foot.
Yeah, you got to turn and get back into the right-handed throwing position. That is a difficult pass to execute, and the Dogs do not execute it here. It brings up 3rd down and 9.
By the way, Brandon Rutley, who was a great back for Alhambra, and Poyadu obviously is a great back. He went to San Jose State, had some good years, and now he's playing for the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the CFL.
Congratulations, playing pro ball. Maybe he'll win a Grey Cup, huh? Evans trying to go up the middle, hit and stop, bounces outside, comes back inside, and then gets to midfield. So Evans is going to bring up 4th down. He's going to be good 5 yards short of that 1st down, so he gets 4 yards on the carry. Really ran into his own man that time, Dan, who had been pushed into the backfield, and it looked like number 54, Joe Pierce, had been shoved by one of the Knights into the backfield, and that play was a little tough to get started.
Here's another gamble. This time it's Alhambra gambling on 4th and 5 from the 50.
And they are going to go under center here, Dan. A lot of times they go shotgun here and gives the quarterback an option of where he can actually kick it or throw it. But Evans under center here on a big 4th down play.
Oh, they
looked
moved.
like they jumped the wide receiver on the near side. And looked like it was Nick Rivetta who jumped out of his stance just a little early.
54 Brady also on the interior line might have moved. To me, now you got to punt.
Yeah, I would say so.
By the way, you said he might win a Grey Cup. Probably not this year in Hamilton, just to let you know.
Let us all know, Dan, because none of us know.
Not the best team. Montreal's the big.
And this is how bad it is. Take out that crowd here at Las Lomas. 4:39 to go here in the first half. What has turned out to be a gorgeous night here in Walnut Creek.
Yeah, you might remember a couple weeks ago when we did the game over at Northgate. It was chilly that night.
It was very cold that night.
And tonight, you know what? That's the Bay Area though in the fall.
I thought it was the Indian summer.
Well, we always get that towards the beginning of September. It can chill. But I got to tell you, we did that game on the 31st of August, and the next 2 days I spent umping softball. And on Sunday down in Fremont, it was 88 degrees. So it didn't last that long. But it just seems that when you get to late September, early October, that is when the weather is the prettiest in the Bay Area.
Rocco's Restaurant and Pizzeria, thanks for the crew meal. I just remember, Dan, this time of year when we were kids, it seemed like it was really hot. When we first go back, the first few weeks back to school, always seemed like it was the hottest time of the year.
It is hot. It was boiling. I don't know where you went to school.
Marin County.
Yeah, well, no one cares about that.
Oh, Dan Wall. All right, here come the Bulldogs here to punt. And Leo Costa dropping back to do the honors. And the left-footed kicker lets fly and bangs this one high into the air. It's going to be taken about the 22 dangerously and somehow gets out of the pack here, trying to find some room, and finally hit and dropped. Zach Folks, and boy, he had a man bearing down on him, Dan, and he chose not to fair catch that. And he does pick up a couple of yards on that return, but a nice kick here being boomed there by Leo Costa, who we actually had listed as the quarterback, I believe, tonight, Dan.
When I talked to Coach Hearn, he had said Costa, due to some injury problems and just being worn out from the first 4 games, may not play as much. And maybe there was something they saw. They thought with Evans they could exploit it a little bit more. Maybe they're going to run the ball a little bit more.
You know, that punt covered 40 yards, and Frankie Holm is the injured Knight down on the field. So a injury timeout here with 4:28 to go, a 21-17 lead for Las Lomas. So
you can see Coach Longero out there in the banana shoes. You can see those things from up here. They look like something that they walked on the moon in.
Not exactly Vietnam camouflage.
No, you would not want to wear those somewhere where it's dark, Tony, where you would need to be hiding. That's why I always wear black,
and the no socks
Tony.
look. Look at Coach Longero. Very stylish tonight.
Looks like he's walking around in his hot tub after the game.
Might as well wear flip-flops. 21-17 is our score. Las Lomas takes over. Here's Wood. Back. Throws. He's got a man. Caught at the 32. And then across the 35 out to the 36-yard line. And it was Brayton Milner, number 18, making the catch. And Malik Thomas came up there to make the stop. So that'll bring up second down, excuse me. So they get all the way out to the 36-yard line. So after a 7-yard gain there, they comes up with 2nd down and 3. So Las Lomas. Shotgun formation. Dogs showing blitz. They're going to back off of it. Wood back with some pressure. Throws. He's got to complete to Robbie Al right at midfield, and he backs out of bounds. And that is going to be a 1st down. So about 18 yards on that little out pattern down, and Robbie Al finds himself wide open. And you got to credit the quarterback right there because there was some pressure coming right into his face, and he made that
looked like
throw.
They were showing blitz, so maybe that he saw that, knew he had to get rid of it. The thing I like about on this play is watch Al, knew exactly where he was, boom, and then he backs right out of bounds right at midfield. There's been a lot of plays from the 50-yard line tonight, Tony. Have you noticed that?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Now that you mentioned it, I noticed
just wanted to see if you were paying attention.
Went right up the middle this time, and Wood is going to get 5-6 yards, and number 54, Joe Pierce, comes up to make the tackle. We've called Pierce's name a lot tonight, and this is just a straight-up quarterback keeper going right up the middle.
Quarterback draw.
And look at
One
that.
of those plays, if your quarterback's not afraid to take a hit, that usually gets you yardage.
Boy, and that was a beautiful form tackle by Pierce, even though it's a successful play, 6 yards on the quarterback keeper, but still a nice-looking tackle at the end of that play. All right, Adam Wood now in the shotgun this time. Wood back under some pressure. Here comes the pockets collapsing around him. Throws deep down the side. He's got Al. Makes the catch inside the 10. Al is down to the 1-yard line. Robbie Al with the catch. So that is going to be 43 yards on the catch. Here's Sam Wood. You see him there. What a beautiful play. Robbie Al gets behind the defense and makes the catch for the big play.
Well, the one thing, our disadvantage point you have in a high school stadium is you're not that high up. We're only about 20 feet off the ground. You can't see where some of those defensive breakdowns come as well, but it looked like from the replay that he ran right by the corner, and the corner had given him some space to get by him, which is unusual usually. That's where you sit down and take the short pass. He ran right by him.
And also, Dan, what you get sometimes with the quarterback running a lot is you get those defensive backs cheating up a little bit,
right,
and the wide receivers run right past them.
And it looked like Wood was going to run that one for a while.
All right, handoff, second man coming through, and a nice-looking tackle and stop that time. Ethan Little coming up and tackling Kyle Hill. Hill unable to get into the end zone this time. It'll bring up 2nd down after no gain on 1st down. 21-17 in favor of the Knights.
Good line play that time, clogging up the lanes. This is, well, I'm sure you watched them for a while, but back a few years ago, this is where the Raiders would just drive me nuts. They'd run the same off-tackle play on the 1-yard line. They got stuffed 4 times. There's so much you can do down there. Play action, move the quarterback, move the people around that open things up.
All right, Wood under center. 3 yard. He's going to go right in himself. Touchdown. So Wood from 1 yard away, and the Knights are back into the end zone.
You knew who called that play, don't you? Wood. Because that's the play where you walk up. They were in an offset eye, which presents a few problems just for the defense. It's something they hadn't seen that much. What are they going to do? They're going to power run, give it to the second guy, dub. And so they spread out a little bit, and then what happens? He just takes the ball and goes. He just taps the center on the backside and goes, I'm going.
Right, and a lot of times he's the only one who knows what play he's running right there. And the kick is up and good. And now 1:39 to go. It's a 28-17 Las Lomas lead. So the Knights with a couple of timeouts, or rather the Bulldogs still a couple of timeouts, and they will have time here to mount another drive. And there you see our 2nd quarter score.
Well, usually if you're a running team, you know how we always talked about the double wing, the hot potato pitch, you just take chunks of yardage. With Poyadu, it's basically a quick strike offense. He can get 60 yards on 2 carries. So
we saw it.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, but they got plenty of time. Minute 39, 2 timeouts. This has been a very good game so far.
Fantastic
very good football game.
We'd like it'd be interesting to see, Dan, in the second half if the defenses make some of those adjustments. Remember the last game that we did, a lot of offense in that first half, and then in the second half the defense kind of caught up with a couple of offensive miscues here defense played a little better.
But you know what's amazing is after seeing those two teams and thinking, well, Antioch looked better. Are they? Yes.
Broncos.
4-0. Northgate, are they better?
Yes, they are.
I mean, I think this area is kind of, the cream of the crop has fallen down a little, and the bottom ones are starting to kind of rise to meet them to where they can at least compete with them now.
All right, Mitchell Howard has had a great night kicking, and he puts a charge into this one. Taken at the goal line into the end zone for that automatic touchback, and really the discretion being the better part of Valor. Taylor Poyet is looking at that one going, Dan, no, he's not saying Dan, but I'm thinking Dan.
He might be. He might be going, Dan, what should I, Tony?
I'm not going to take this one out.
The, even the Big Green Machine has not been the overwhelming presence of Pat. But then again, they do play a little tougher schedule than most of us do. But I'm just saying they're not winning those games 65-0 anymore. I actually think Monte Vista has a really, really good team this year over there. Say hi to our buddy over there, Coach Babcock.
All right, Evans from the shotgun, minute 39 to go. Here's Evans looking. Under pressure now, hit and taken down. And it's going to be, I believe that was Connor Sanson, number 55. So that'll be a sack on the play. Of course, it goes against the running stats here in high school football, but still we know that they were trying to pass that time, and the Knights pick up the sack, drop 8 yards on them on that first down, bringing up 2nd down and 18. Evans throws, far side's got him, and it's caught! Out across the 35 to about the 37-yard line, and that is number 5, Ethan Little on the catch.
Watch this catch, Tony. This is a beautifully thrown ball. Only the receiver could get it, and look at that catch. He goes up and over to the defender, pulls it in at the 38, and Alhambra's in business.
Beautiful play. Well, 26 yards on that catch. Here's Evans looking to scramble, then tripped over his own man as he was looking to cut to the outside. And they're going to call timeout now, so Alhambra burns one of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 1 and 53 seconds to go. So the Dogs trying to put some points on the board here before the halftime. They trail it by 11.
Well, Tony, let's talk a little bit about this league, the DFAL. Not the DVAL or the EBAL or the BVAL, but the DFAL. If you can remember all that, you get an award.
Yeah, I know a lot about it. I've got ESP.
I know you do.
And ESPN.
And I have 4 ESPNs. You've got some really good teams in this league. Look at what Campolindo did. I still think that's one of the most amazing things I've seen in high school football. Last year, as I mentioned to you, we hadn't done this in a couple of years. And sometimes, there's other things to do, so you start following another team, or, I always follow Antioch and Pittsburgh because I live out there and I went to Antioch. But Campolindo always enjoyed them, Las Lomas. Coach Macy was always really good to us, a nice guy, Coach Longero. And I remember reading about Campolindo last year, that they wouldn't win a game, that they were going to finish
and
last
they only
in the league. They lost one, the state championship. Now, I just think it's amazing. Miramani's a good team. Acalanes is a good team. Dublin is one of them scrappy little teams that you think you're going to go down there and win, and they beat you half the time.
8-5 last year, Dan.
So this is a very, very good league, and you're seeing tonight that very competitive football out here.
All right, 2nd down and 11, operating from their own 37-yard line. Evans back with time, throws, and nobody home. Is going to be incomplete. He was looking for number 5, Ethan Little, but also on the play, number 5, Cole Gravitt, the opposite number there defensively for Las Lomas. Had really kind of a nobody home situation on that particular throw.
If the first 4 words out of the broadcaster's mouth are thrown into double coverage, the next 4 are probably going to be pass was incomplete.
Or intercepted.
Or intercepted. Yeah. Is that 2 words? But I'm just saying, you throw into double coverage most of the time, that's not good.
Tony Schultz, Dan Wall with you here on Walnut Creek Television. So glad you could be with us tonight. A beautiful evening from Walnut Creek. 3rd down and 11. Still 48 ticks to go and 1 timeout for the Dogs. 4 wide receiver spread this time. 4 down linemen coming after the quarterback, and they are going to get him with the sack. So Evans goes down, and that was Ben Wood, the brother of Adam, on the sack. So a pair of sacks here on this drive here, and that's going to push Alhambra back even more. Take another look, Dan.
It's just a speed rush on the outside. He didn't even do any of those fancy moves that they show you on all the football instructional videos. Went right by Lara on the outside. It was just speed. Wood is not the biggest guy, but he's proving that it doesn't matter.
No.
He's not taking the guy on.
Well, and a lot of times you're talking about those type of plays, Dan, when they know you're going to pass, it's about speed. It's not about size and bulk right there.
Yeah, because basically if you try to run over a guy, by the time you run over him, the ball's out of the quarterback's hands. You've got to get around that guy or find a hole up the middle and in either a blitz package or some sort of red dog situation. I always love the red dog.
Good name.
I like that. That's a good name for football.
6-yard loss on that sack, bringing up 4th down and 17 from the 31. Now remember, Las Lomas also still has a timeout in their back pocket. They'll get a stop here with a change of possession if the Dogs choose not to go for it.
I'd be shocked if they didn't punt here.
They've got to punt the football in this situation.
They have to.
Coach Hearn is,
Yeah.
I'm sure, not
because
gonna
they get
take
the
any
ball in the
chances.
second half. So they know that they can get the ball, maybe get good field position, come back and get within 4 points. But if you let them go here with 34 and a timeout, score another one, this game is pretty much going to be put in the side pocket.
Costa to punt. He's gotten off a couple of good ones already. The line of scrimmage is the 31-yard line. I believe that's Folks that's dropped back to the 35-yard line of the Knights. And now we're going to have defensive encroachment, I believe, against the defense. We will. So that'll give them 5 extra yards here. A little better punt position, but not changing things too dramatically here. You see Folks now dropping back to the 30. And the line of scrimmage now, the Alhambra 36, as Costa gets set to kick this one away. There's the punt. Folks going to chase it down over toward that far sideline. Picks it up at about the 19-yard line. Coming out here looking for some blockers. Flags fly, looking for some room. Cuts it back the other way. Still going and finally dragged out another flag.
That's a block in the back.
We're going to have flags all over the place and look like a horse collar tackle on the sideline. Boy, that was a mess right there.
That I was going to say, it looks like the United Nations, but someone else reminded me of that. But Green Bay, remember the Green Bay Niner game where there was blocks in the back and they pulled them? So we don't know. They might pick that flag up, Tony.
Right.
We have to wait and see. There was a block in the back.
And take a look at Folks. That's picking us one up at the 19-yard line.
Okay, so
35 yards on the
there's a
kick.
block in the back. See, usually when a guy goes flying past your guy, that's a block in the back. See, there's that penalty flag. Now watch this. There's a block in the back. Las Lomas' starting position may be in the end zone after this is all sorted out.
We'll see the referees. And that's Don Hubbard in the white hat, the referee, trying to sort this one out. It's going to go against Las Lomas. They're going to mark them back from about that 19-yard line, 20-yard line, Dan. And, boy, they just keep on marching. Now they're going to put them just outside the 10 to start this drop with 20 seconds left. So that, if nothing else, at least puts a damper on Las Lomas even thinking about trying to put a couple of plays together here before we end the first half. So a wild first half here. Ends with a little bit of some miscues here on that last punt. But a very entertaining half nonetheless here in the first 2 quarters of play.
I might take 2 knees here, but knowing Doug Longero, he doesn't take knees.
You never know. He's got the 3 wide receiver spread, and they are going to hand off. I never really liked that kind of play, Dan. Just because if you're going to hand off in that situation, as the clock stops here with 13.7, I almost got the feeling that only something bad can happen deep in your own end when you hand off. I mean, chances are you're not going to get the big play for the score, but you still could get the fumble and give Alhambra one more shot.
It seems like on a play like that the offensive team, knowing they have so far to go with so little time, lets up a little.
That's a good point.
And I think that's where sometimes you get these plays where there was a play like that in the New England-Arizona game last week where it looked like the game was over and New England fumbled late and Arizona fumbled late and New England got the ball back and almost won.
And let us know if you want to see more Walnut Creek Television at www.walnutcreektv.org. Tell us what you think. We'd like to bring you more sports right here on WCTV.
All of our games are on YouTube, too.
YouTube as well.
YouTube. You can watch it on Walnut Creek on their website. That's where I watched it. Last time, due to a technical glitch, the show didn't show until Wednesday on the Antioch side, and I watched it right there on the Internet. I think we sounded better on the Internet. I know we looked better because there were no photos of us.
I know we look better on the radio.
I've been told you and I have the face for radio men.
13.7 to go. Second down and 8 for the Knights. And they are going to throw here and over the middle. And that catch is made by Ben Wood. And Adam to Ben, and a nice gain there for a first down, but it leaves only 7.8 seconds to go.
You know, just by watching the first half, Ben Wood, he's a sophomore, he weighs 190 pounds right now. If I were his parents, I'd get a bigger mailbox. I think that kid can grow into a football player. He has the instincts already. I mean, this kid's rushing the quarterback, making good catches, and he's a sophomore, so he's roughly 15, 16 years old. So let's see where he is in about 5 years.
But he could be playing on Saturdays.
I think he might be playing on
huh?
Saturdays down the road. He just has that. He looks like a football player. And so does his brother.
To the 30-yard line. Nearly 8 ticks remaining. Here's Wood on the shotgun and can't get outside, and that will do it for the first half. So an exciting first half of play sees the home team, the Las Lomas Knights, 28, the Alhambra Bulldogs, 17. Stick around. We'll have the second half coming up for you in just a bit.
Do you want to learn more about your environment and the wildlife around you? Become an open space adventurer. Visit www.walnut-creek.org/walks to download your Open Space Adventurer Passport. It will have all the instructions you'll need to get started. Complete the passport and earn your certificate, signed by Mayor Bob Simmons.
The best thing about Walnut Creek Open Space is getting together with friends and family. It's a great excuse to bring out your kids, like my son here. He gets an opportunity to see snakes, all kinds of wildlife, coyotes, deer, you name it. It's out here. It's a great time. Good reason to get the kids away from the video games.
You will also receive a walking whistle and lanyard for a job well done. Children must be 12 years of age or younger. For more information, go to www.walnut-creek.org/walks or call 943-5895. We'll see you on the trail.
All right, back here at Las Lomas High School into Klotz Stadium, Las Lomas Knights 28 and the Alhambra Bulldogs 17. A wild first half, Dan. Give us some of those stats.
Highlighted by 472 yards of total offense between the two teams. Las Lomas 257 on 92 running, 165 passing. Alhambra 215 on 152 rushing, 63 passing. Here's a couple of the highlights for you. Here's the first touchdown. This is Milner, a 9-yard pass from Wood on a little fade pattern. He just went up and jumped over the corner for the touchdown.
Beautiful looking play right over Hardis Abdurrahman.
We've been waiting to say that name. That was Hill on one of his runs for a touchdown, a 4-yard run. At that point, it was 14-3. This Poyadu with a 1-yard run made it 14-9. Alhambra would then take the lead on this 49-yard run by Poyadu, making it 17-14. Poyadu, by the way, 11 rushes for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. But then Las Lomas got the momentum back on a great pass play that we'll see after this. 2 touchdowns late in the second quarter. I guess that's all we got for the highlights. Folks, a 42-yard pass from Wood, and then Wood a 1-yard keeper. 28-17 at halftime. Hill has 10 rushes for 58 yards and a touchdown. Wood 165 yards passing. Evans 63-yard passing. So there's your stats. First half, Alhambra gets the ball, and they're going to have to score here and kind of get some of that momentum back, Tony, here early in the third quarter.
Well, a good-looking first half there, and there he is. We get set to start the third quarter. It's the Knights by 11, 28-17 over Alhambra.
Tony, we mentioned Alhambra's record. They beat College Park in the first game, one of their neighbors. You can imagine those schools are only about 5 miles apart. Then they had 3 tough losses to teams all up in the Santa Rosa Marin area, Rancho Cotati, Cardinal Newman, who's always been a power up there in Santa Rosa, and Maria Carrillo. They lost to last week.
Yeah.
Los Lomas lost to O'Dowd, who's always a power, and they've played in the playoffs in the past. Mission San Jose was a win. Foothill, of course, is a 1A power that plays a lot in the playoffs in the EBAL, same league with Monte Vista and San Ramon and De La Salle. And then last week's lost to Northgate. But I think that one, as long as they play like they have tonight, that one will go away quickly. Looks like a little pooch kick.
Little pooch,
Las
and that's
Lomas
gonna be
got
picked
it.
up by Las Lomas. Is that going to be inbounds? It is, and that'll be a first down for the Knights. Edwin Matthews making the pickup. So a little trickery. Talk about the riverboat gamble. That gamble paid off right there.
Look at the bounce he gets right between one of the big guy's legs and right to number 4 for Las Lomas. That was Matthews who made the recovery. 37-yard line. Once again, Tony, Las Lomas has fantastic field position.
Oh, they've had that all night long. Here now 1st and 10 from the Bulldog 37 as we start the third quarter. Wood, hands off, right up the middle. And they're going to pick up about 5 yards. That is Kyle Hill. Had that good-looking first half. Kyle found the end zone. So he gets about 6 yards. Now to about the 31-yard line. Will bring up 2nd down and 4. And Alhambra, even though there's so much time left here, Dan, trailing by 11, certainly not a situation where you want to give up that touchdown and end up going down by 3 scores here.
Yeah, their best option here is a stoppage or to try to hold them to a field goal. That would just put them down by 14.
All right, tight end switching ends. That's Milner. Here's Robbie Howe coming in motion. They're going to hand it off and go up the middle. Kyle Hill looking for some room. Not a whole lot there, but somehow able to plow forward and pick up the first down. Kyle didn't have a whole lot of room there, but able to get the, actually you're going to mark him just short. It's going to bring up 3rd down and about 1 yard, so he picks up 3 yards on that play.
Power running that time with the big number 77, Cameron Parhar on his back. Hill's had a nice game so far. He's right now we're just into that possession game. If they can keep getting 3 or 4 yards on every play, they can move the chains and keep Alhambra from getting the ball back.
Hill in the eye, and he is not going to get the first down. That is going to be short. It's going to bring up 4th down. So a couple of nice plays there for the Alhambra defense, and it is going to be 4th down and 1 yard here for Las Lomas.
Little stopped that play, and Pierce came over the top to clean it up. So this is a big play in this ball game right here, 4th and 1.
4th down and 1 inside the 30, down about the between the 28 and the 27. Looks like just less than 1 yard here for a first down. 4th down and 1. Knights going for it. From the eye, Hill gets it, right side. He's got the first down, not by a whole lot, but he picks up 2, and that will move the chain. So the Knights turn 4th down into 1st down, and they keep the drive alive. Nice blocking on that far side. And you saw number 72, Miguel Lara, with some help over there to make the tackle, but they cannot prevent the first down.
They were that would look like one of those plays where they were just lined up to get those 2 yards. They had enough blocking on that side. Once he got past the down marker, he went down. So basically, I think that was what they were looking for, the first down, and they got it.
I formation, Wood, hands off, and hit in the backfield really before he could get started that time was Kyle Hill, and it looked like Miguel Lara, number 72, got there, and I think one other defender got there just before Hill could really pick up a head of steam.
You know, Parhar and Pierce and Lara have made a lot of tackles on the interior line tonight for Alhambra.
It does get them down to the Bulldog 25-yard line. After a 2-yard gain, it'll bring up 2nd down and 8. Wood to Hill. Hill up the middle and bangs into some defenders, picks up a couple of more yards. Another short gain. So Kyle again, that's going to bring up 3rd down. He picks up 2, maybe 3 yards.
Here comes
Tony Schultz and Dan Wall here. Just getting the second half underway. The Knights started out with an onside kick, picked up by Edwin Matthews. They started this drive from the Dog 37. Now they're at the Alhambra 23. Up the middle this time, Hill, and he's going to be close to another first down. And that's going to be Bromstad, number 22, not Hill on that carry.
Well, they tried to decoy that with trips to the right side and 4 wide receivers in the ball game, and then they kind of spread the line out, went back up the middle, and you see they got a nice chunky yardage, but obviously not enough for the first down. It's going to be 4th and 3, Tony.
Down to about the 23-yard line. And it's going to be 4th down. Fourth down and 1, the second 4th down here on this drive. And he's going to fake it to Bromstead. Wood is going to pick up the first down, get inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line for the first down.
That wasn't just a fake, Tony. That's where you put the ball in the guy's stomach and run with him for about 2 yards before you pull it back out. Look at this right here. He basically gave him the ball and was still holding on to it. All the Alhambra defensive players on the inside bid on that fake, and then he was able to run around the left side and get the first down.
14 yards on that scramble brings up a 1st and goal to go situation from the Alhambra 9. The Dogs really need to get a stop here. They can ill afford to give up the touchdown and go down by 3 scores. Going right up the middle this time. And not much of a game. That's Kyle Hill. And there's Miguel Lara getting up off the tackle along with number 74, Julian Navarro. So able to stop that run. And still, they're going to say you get a couple of yards. I'm going to say you got about 2 and bring up 2nd down. And goal to go from about the 7.
Just nibbling a little bit here, Tony. It seems like they know they really can't be stopped. You can see. Yeah, you look at that just in this half. Hill just, a 6-yard 3, -1, 2, 1, 2, 2, but just enough to keep the chains going with the play from Wood on that last run.
All right, from the 7. Lone setback is Hill. They fake it to him. They throw a little loft pattern and a little too far for number 33, Josh Jacobson. And boy, he was open that time. That pass just a little bit over his head.
It was a little too far because Ethan Little was out there in defense. And what he did here is he played it great. If he commits to the quarterback, it's an easy touchdown. If he goes all the way out to the defender, then Wood can run. He basically played it right in the middle, made him throw the ball a little bit too far. And so it'll bring up 3rd down.
Good play by Little, and that will bring up 3rd down and goal from the 7. And we know that they can kick the ball really well here with Mitchell Howard, but we'll see whether or not Las Lomas goes for the field goal. They don't make it here. But first things first, let's do 3rd down. Trips left. Wood to pass, throws. He's got a man and cuts back inside. Touchdown! That is number 18, Brayton Milner for the touchdown, the 2nd time he has scored tonight.
Milner's become a very important part of this offense tonight. 2 touchdown catches. And aside from the 1 drop pass, he's had a great game.
Boy, look at Milner, Dan, able to skip a tackler, cuts right back inside, able to make that touchdown. And it looked like it was going to be a tackle and a bringing up a 4th down, but instead, here's Howard on to try the extra point. Snap, the hole, kick is good. And just like that, Dan, 6:33 to go, and it's 35-17. So they go the 37-yard distance. They got to pick up a few first downs, score the touchdown. And incidentally, Dan, still a lot of time to go, but they chewed up nearly 5 or more than 5.5 minutes on that drive.
Well, that was the important thing. You did. Quick strike's great, but it does give the other team some time. Now we're almost halfway through the 3rd quarter. Alhambra now down by 3 scores. They're going to have to get something going here really fast. They haven't been able to move the ball in their last drive that they had, and we saw one of their few punts. So we'll have to see what Poyadu can do. The only problem, Tony, is they really have not featured anyone other than Poyadu. You know what I mean? If you look at their offense, it's probably been 75% Poyadu and 20% the rest of the Bulldog squad.
All right, Howard getting set to kick off. Dan, we'll go talk a little bit more about the DFAL as we move along. I got some notes here and just talk about what a very good and a strong conference that is, where everybody is right now, how they did last year, and some pretty interesting stories of how things turned out last year. We talked about some of those prognosticators, and I guess apparently there's some cracks in the crystal ball.
Yeah, well, it's one didn't predict 500 and the team comes to predict no wins, and then the team goes to the state championship. That's a little off.
Howard again. This one, Poyadu is going to take it from about the goal line, 10-yard line. 15, hit, stopped, and he won't make the 20 as he gets to about the 16-yard line. So a 16-yard return for Poyadu. Rocco's Restaurante and Pizzeria. Thank you very much for the crew meal and, of course, all your support. That's Rocco's Restaurante and Pizzeria.
By the way, Tony, as an example of prognosticators gone wrong, I give you the Washington Nationals.
You know what? Did they come out of nowhere? But
did you think the Dodgers thought going back there in September, having to play 3 games that would decide their season would matter at all?
Probably not.
No.
But of course, the Dodgers probably weren't thinking they were going to be in it anyway after what happened last year. All right, first down and 10 for Alhambra. Evans back, tries to run, hit and bang down that time. Connor Sanson, number 55, making the stop, and we appear to have an injured Las Lomas Knight on the play. And you take another look.
He's holding his ankle, trying to get that number for you. It looks like a 4 on the backside.
So an injury timeout here.
I think it's 24. I think that's Connor Speck. So, Tony, while we have a chance to talk a little bit more about the DFAL.
All right, look at Acalanes right now, Dan, at 3-0. Where did they finish last year? Well, they won only 2 games in the DFAL, 4-6 overall. And so far this year with that perfect record, 95 points. They've given up 14. So
that's
things are looking good.
Ivankovic, our old buddy from Ignacio Valley. He's over there.
There's that
now.
hot potato pitch. And there's
hot
a guy
potato.
that he's not putting any square pegs into round holes. And
No,
what he's doing is what he does,
says,
and that's it.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to hit you and hit you hard. And he was a fun guy. He's a fun guy to talk to.
Local high school sports. Do you want to be a part of seeing more local high school sports coverage on television? We need your help. Give us a call, 925-324-5313, or email cchighschoolsports@gmail. That's cchighschoolsports@gmail. And
that was Connor Speck. He's being helped off the field now. Hope he's okay.
Connor being helped. I mean, we can only hope that he returns later on. Campolindo 3-1 against Acalanes tonight. A big game in league. Of course, by the time you see this, you'll know the outcome of that one. But look at last year, Dan. We talked about it, 14-1. Now, playoff wins over Hercules, O'Dowd, Cardinal Newman, Marin Catholic, and then finally losing to Washington of Fresno in that title game. Dan, they played 15 games last year. It's a pro season.
I'm surprised they haven't started a union
wow.
over there at Campolindo.
Unbelievable. We'll get to the rest of them. Miramani starting out at 2-2 so far this year. We'll talk about more DFAL football as we move along. All right, second down to 10. Alhambra from their own 17. Evans under pressure immediately, and he is going to be sacked. Getting up off that pile. Looked like it was number 13, Ben Wood. And there's the guy you talked about, Dan. Another speed rush from Ben, and he picks up at least his second sack of the game. And that's got to be about 4 sacks tonight for Las Lomas.
But see, I'm not going to give him a lot of I've given him a lot of credit tonight, being a young guy, maybe being able to reach another level. No one blocked him on that one. That was too easy. He just walked right in. I was going to say he's been watching his Alden Smith tapes, but that time there was no one there. It was just Tiger Woods could have made that sack.
So all of a sudden, Las Lomas now taking control of this game. And Alhambra 3rd down and 16 from their own 10-yard line. Long way to go. Throwing down the middle of the field. They got him in. The catch is made. That's a first down. 35 out to the 40, back down to the 43. That is number 5, Ethan Little, making the huge catch right there. All the way out. They're going to mark this ball at about the 44-yard line.
Little's been their go-to guy tonight. He's made 2 huge catches, generally in single coverage. He's throwing the ball to where just Little can get it. Little is going and getting it. A lot of people think that passes have to be perfect. Yeah, they don't have to be perfect, Tony. It's nice if they're perfect, but sometimes they're not. The receiver's got to go get the ball every once in a while.
Got to go get it.
And he's going and getting the ball.
So Little comes up with a huge play for the Dogs. Boy, they really needed that one, and they got it. First down and 10 from the 44. Back to pass. Now he's going to run, and he's going to pick up a few yards. And Evans, they're going to get down to about the 47-yard line. About a 4-yard gain. It looked like Stom and Connor Sanson got there defensively.
And another injured player. You ever noticed, Tony, that the injuries almost always come in the second half?
A little more fatigue?
Yeah, it always ends up that way. Most of the injuries I remember in games, you never really seem to get an injury early. I'm sure it's happened, but it always seems to happen in the 3rd and 4th quarter.
Hobbling off for Alhambra, under his own power, incidentally, is number 54, Joe Price. We called his name a lot tonight. So Price coming out over onto that Alhambra sideline. Joe Pierce, excuse me. Called his name so many times I forgot how to say it. Second down and 6 after that 4-yard gain by Evans. Going to hand off, and this is a draw play, and going to get to about midfield is Poyadu. But just a couple of yards there as Nick Abramson comes up there to make the tackle. So again, we've seen Las Lomas looking at this draw play here a couple of times, Dan, and they've handled that play on the interior very well.
Well, I think what you're seeing, Tony, is these guys early in the game were either hitting him at the line of scrimmage or weren't hitting him at all. So you're just watching him run by guys, but they've kind of bought into the fact that it takes 11 guys on defense. You're starting to see the linebackers and even some of the corner defensive people, the safeties, come up and make tackles because, quite frankly, other than Little, they haven't had much to throw to.
And you got to wonder, Dan, if this is going to be 4-down territory, being what the score is and how much time left. They're going to pitch it, and nearly, oh boy, that was close. And they're going to only get about a yard. And that was number 8, Malik Thomas, on the carry, but not a whole lot there. He may have just gotten into to Las Lomas territory. He did, picking up a yard. 4th and 4, Dan, and I've got to say, I would have to go for it here on the 4th down and 3, given that 3 minutes and counting and a 35-17 game. If you're Coach Hearn right now, you got to think, well, I'm down by 3 scores here. I've really got to roll the dice and go for it.
And on that last play, you could see that you don't really want the defensive backfield guys in your backfield
no.
when you pitch the ball.
Oh, my God. That's almost a take it and go the other way with a slam dunk. All right, the Dogs, they got that big play to Ethan Little on that last 3rd and long. They've got a 4th down and 3 here from the Las Lomas 49. Evans. Flag flies beginning of the play. Evans is going to have the 1st down, cuts it back, gets across the 40, and gets, looks like across the 35, but hold everything. We had a flag right as the play started. Now, they did let things go, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was on the defense. It's going to be illegal motion.
Alhambra. There was a great block thrown on the far side of the field that sprung the quarterback on that run play, and we'll see it, but I don't know where the motion was unless the guy wasn't set at the line of scrimmage. But here's a great block on Wood. Someone finally got their hands on him. And then here's a good run, 1st down, but it's all coming back due to the illegal motion. So it's going to be 4th and about 9.
Yeah, 4th and 8, 4th and 9 here as they back them up. Back into their own territory at the 46. So that really hurts, but I still think it's 4th down in a situation where they're going to have to go for it. I don't know how much confidence Coach Hearn has in his defense right now as far as thinking that he can stop Las Lomas. They really haven't done it all night.
Only once.
Yeah, Las Lomas lost it on downs, Dan, in the beginning of that 2nd quarter. Their first possession of the 2nd quarter, and that's been it. They've scored every other time. Evans, 4th down, throws. He's got a man on the inside. It's caught, and that is going to be a 1st down. That is number 31, Jose Gonzalez, his 2nd big catch of the night. And that time, Dan, just running down the field and running that little turn-in, coming out here as the wide receiver. And look at that, that little turn-in, and he has got Al beat.
That's a skinny post, Tony. I'm skinny post, that's right. You have the long post and you have the skinny post. He just ran a little slant pattern inside, however you want to call it.
Yeah, I'm thinking almost a turn-in.
70, turn-in, you can call it 100 different things. Guess what? 1st down.
It's yeah, one thing you definitely call it is a 1st down. So they get the big play again on 4th down. They turned a big 3rd down play into 1st down with Little. And now they turn 4th down into 1st down. Poyadu, left side. Does he have some room? Turns the corner. Poyadu out near a 1st down, and it looks like he is going to have it.
Late flag, Tony.
And now a late flag, and that's got to be a late hit or a face mask, usually coming against the defense.
This is usually a face mask, late hit, or unsportsmanlike conduct.
So all of a sudden, things starting to look a little better for Alhambra. And they lead the end zone here, and it's going to be that personal foul, a face mask against the defense.
He's going to take the ball down inside the 15-yard line.
Well, how about this, Dan? It's about an 11-yard carry for Poyadu at 15, so a 26-yard net on the play and penalty, and this will line the ball up at the 13-yard line. And, boy, that's the 2nd time that's happened at Las Lomas tonight, and look at the expression on Longero's face. Of course, that's kind of the same expression he always has on his face. To tell you the truth.
Even when he's up 50 to nothing, that's kind of like how he looks.
Kind of always the same. Very stoic looking on that sideline. 1st down and 10 from the Knight 13-yard line. Evans, pitch. Trying the right side. Cut it back to the inside. Flags fly. And finally going down, the ball carrier, number 8, Malik Thomas.
Holding on Alhambra.
And Alhambra going to be
most that other penalty, Tony.
Going to be called for holding. Now let's see how far downfield this holding occurred. Only got a couple of yards, but it might not cost them the full 10. We'll have to see where they mark this off from.
Tony, I think most coaches go to a class that we're not invited to called Game Day Face. Because a lot of times when I meet these guys off the field, it's not the same guy. You know, I remember Herc Party over at Clayton Valley in Pittsburgh. When game day, you never talk to her. Yeah. See him at the Concord Pavilion in the summer. Dan, how are you? Nice to see you. What are you doing? You know, you'd see, I've seen a number of these coaches at the mall, or, hey, how are you? Can I buy you a root beer fizzy? Or, you know, whatever, but I'm just saying. Then you come out here on game day and it's...
Yeah, it's leave me alone.
Yeah,
it's like a pitcher when he's pitching or when he's waiting for his next start. This one's going to be intercepted by Al. 30, he's got nothing but green in front of him. Down the sideline, all the way. Touchdown, Las Lomas. And boy, if that doesn't tell you, say goodnight, Gracie. Good night, Gracie. Nothing does. So Al with the interception, the return. I'm calling it unofficially 70 yards. Let's see where he got it. No, more like about 75, 76 yards. He caught that ball about the 25.
Yeah.
And it looked like a little mistake between quarterback and intended receiver, and it's a huge mistake as Al takes it about 75 yards for the distance.
The ball's coming back to somewhere.
And there might have been, I don't know why there would have been a penalty on that return. He had no defenders in front of him.
Why would anyone
that is just
block anyone in the back when there was no one within 10 yards of your guy?
Close. So forget the touchdown for Al, but it will be possession Las Lomas, and they're going to have it deep in Bulldog territory. But I tell you, Doug Longero is going to be very upset at this. Here's that interception, Dan. Just a bad throw that time by Evans.
But I mean, at this point, if you're wearing red, none of you have any business even being in the play.
There's just no reason for it.
There's this guy right here, and all he's got to do is outrun that guy right there. So this is the only guy that should do anything.
Didn't see where the penalty happened, but boy, not a smart play there. So Las Lomas, the ball was intercepted at the 24-yard line. They take over at about the 34-yard line of the Bulldogs.
Wish I had one of those little things I could draw on the, like I'd say, like this guy right here should not have done that to this guy right here.
Yeah.
This guy right here is going to be running laps around this track, Tony.
Dan, you're talking about the telestrator.
The telestrator.
You wish you had the telestrator. There we are.
Wait, where am I? There. That's my hand right there. Hello. Yes, I just wanted to show. There's Dave Jackson. Yeah, I know. You see that track? He'll be running the track.
Yeah, that's one of the gadgets we just haven't been able to add just yet. Fake the handoff. Wood back, fires, got a man at the 20-yard line, hit and stop there, but that will be enough for a first down, and that is Robbie Al. And Robbie has made some big plays here tonight. Made a couple of nice runs, made a few catches, Dan. And he also just, of course, made that interception. Nice form tackle there for the Dogs on the outside. Trying to see who that is. Looked like it was number 88, Bradley Garcia. Good looking tackle, but he cannot prevent the first down. And now from the 21-yard line, Alhambra's got it in what should be the last play of the third quarter. Will they get it off? And they do. And Wood was trying to scramble around, and then he handed it off.
Broken
play.
Now
he kept it, and that's a broken play. And that is the end of the third quarter. Well, the Knights in complete command. They lead it 35-17, trying to tack on another one, and we'll have a fresh and the final 12 minutes here as quarter number 4 gets set to begin.
Northern California's largest community arts program is here in Walnut Creek.
We have over 180 professionals teaching music, dance, drama, and visual arts.
With over 680 classes, workshops, and events.
There are classes for youth, teens, and adults.
With opportunities for beginners through professionals.
inspire, grow.
A 35-17 lead for the Knights. Started out with some trickery here with that onside kick fielded by Edwin Matthews. It started them at the Alhambra 37. They scored a touchdown on that following the onside kick. And they're trying to tack on some more here as they've taken complete control of this game following now the Owl interception. And right up the middle, number 21, Kyle Hill, and he is in for the touchdown. Kyle Hill from 19 yards out. And boy, Las Lomas put this one to bed pretty early here.
Woodstone for 168 so far through 3 quarters. Hill is now right around the 100-yard mark after that touchdown. And that one was blocking up the middle in a big hole. And
look
just
at this, Dan.
Look at the hole here.
Look at they're pulling the guard right out there, and that is number 56, Max Nevis, pulling out the junior. He got a great block on the inside, Dan, and really helped spring the ball carrier.
And they were just spread out again on defense. And
here's Howard again.
No
Snap,
chance
hold,
on that one.
Kick is good. And boy, Howard has been about perfect tonight.
The other interesting stat here in the second half, Poyadu had 137 yards rushing in the first half, has 13 in the second half.
Well, he hasn't had the ball a whole lot. It's really tough to run it when you don't have the ball. And now that you're down so much, Dan, I mean, if you want to go ahead and run the football right now, I think the Knights would be perfectly happy to let you do so. 42-17 is our score. 11:55 to go here in the fourth from Walnut Creek. Anthony Schultz along with Dan Wall. West Coast Jamboree, remember, December the 27th through the 31st. So many schools going to be involved. The best in girls high school basketball, the West Coast Jamboree at westcoastjamboree.com. 706-2802, the area code on that, 925.
Dave Jackson flies all around the country during the it's only a 4-day basketball tournament. The other 361 days, Dave Jackson is on the road. He was in Quincy, or is it Muncie? It's either Quincy. I think there's a Quincy and a Muncie, Indiana. I think he went from Quincy to Muncie, Indiana, to scout a team the other day. There was only 5 players on it. Doesn't that sound like Hoosiers?
They don't sound like areas with airports.
No, he was driven by his old friend.
Right.
Took a crop duster into Muncie, Indiana to find a team. That's how dedicated Dave Jackson is.
Howard's kick and another long, booming end-over-end kick. And Poyadu kind of does what he's done all night, just kind of let that one drop.
I asked Coach Longero, you got another kicker? And he said, yeah, Howard, he's another kicker. Long line of great kickers at Las Lomas.
All right, Dan, looking at the DFAL, Miramani at 2-2. Last year, 10-2 and 5-1. Dublin, you talked about them sneaking up on some people. 8-5 last year.
Well,
Dan.
Dublin's this
Pretty
team,
nice.
you know, that they never get picked to win, right? They're always in the middle, but then like one night you look at the paper and it's like Dublin, 47, Acalanes 27. What the heck happened there? How did that happen? They weren't supposed to win any games, but they always scrap it out. They're a very scrappy little team. They have a beautiful stadium down there.
I love their facility. We did a playoff game, I think, one year with the Hayward Farmers.
Yes, we did.
And that is a beautiful place to watch a football game. Evans, back to pass. They got no reason to play him on us now. He's going to scamper, go outside, pick up some pretty good yardage. It'll bring up a second down. Look at Las Lomas, Dan, next week at Acalanes. And how about last year, again, 9-3, Dan. They beat Alhambra last year 38-0, so I guess Alhambra getting a little bit better with that. But they beat Washington of Fremont and then lost to Concord in the playoffs. I'm thinking, that's pretty typical. They make the playoffs every year. They always have a winning record.
But I think that
nothing
losing
new for
to
them.
Concord, because back in the day when they were in the league with Concord, that didn't happen much. Concord has become a power in this area, really. Coach Hamilton's done a great job over there.
And I had a chance to see that quarterback on TV the other day, playing at Brett Favre's alma mater. Thrown, a little rainbow here to the near side. That's going to be caught, and that's Little on the catch, going to be banged down near midfield.
Little's done a great job tonight. As I mentioned, this was not a great pass. This is one that you got to go get. The quarterback got rid of it. He threw it up, and now as a tight end, that, as Steve Sanchez used to say, that thing was shot. It was a wounded duck, and just happened to land in Little's hands.
So you got Alhambra at 1-3.
And by the way, Hayward played Alhambra in that game. We did at Dublin High School.
Good memory, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
First down and 10 from midfield. Evans back with plenty of time this time. Now fires. He's got a man on the far side. 40. And 35 inside the 35. Flag flies to the other place. They're going to tack on some more yardage here. And that was number 24, Julian Archuleta, on the catch. And now let's see if they tack on some more yards following the flag. And here's
that was
the referee,
a pretty pattern
Don
by
Hubbard.
Archuleta. I happened to be watching him the whole way out. He kind of snuck out of the backfield, curved off to the sideline, and then took it out. And they're going to get another 15. So this looks a lot like Las Lomas' last drive.
So would it be interesting to see Alhambra tack on a touchdown here fairly quickly, and you wonder if they wouldn't onside kick when it's their time to kick off. All right, just to kind of finish it up here, Dan, Alhambra, they get Acalanes on 10 the 26th, and 3-7, 1-5 in league last year for the Dogs, so kind of a slow season for them. And then the new kids on the block, Doherty Valley, well, still having those growing pains.
Yes, they got beat
3-7.
by 50 by Antioch last week.
70-20, not even close. Evans, back to pass, looking, fires to the end zone a little bit too high, and it's incomplete. And that was Little over there on the going toward that far sideline. He was open, and Evans' pass just a little bit too high. So looking at the game logs, we talked about Las Lomas. The lost to O'Dowd, Mission of San Jose. They pounded them. Foothill of Pleasanton, the Falcons always seem like they have a good team.
Well, Foothill's always been, I mean, for years, they were one of those top 8 that were in the playoffs every year.
And then it was a loss to Northgate, 29-19.
We're going to see Northgate, I think, again. That's the rumor is that Northgate will be on the schedule later in the year.
And they should be. Playing good football over there. Evans back. Flags fly. They tried to set up, I think that was a screen pass, Dan, but boy, you had a couple of guys rushing the passer and then a couple of guys not buying the screen at all. Abramson there.
Well, there was illegal motion right there. Boyadu went in motion early. He was the pass catcher. And then Abramson here. This looks like an old Antioch Saturday night party down at the drive-in is what that looked like right there. Dave Jackson knows more about that than I do. But actually looks like my dad trying to get me out of bed to go to school.
So for Las Lomas, they get at Acalanes next week, and then following that, they will get Dublin, and then they get Campolindo. That should be an interesting contest. That'll be here against Campolindo in a couple of weeks. All right, clock rolling. We go under 11 minutes to go. Man in motion. Here's Evans. Short drop back, under some pressure. Pulls the pass back down. Scrambling around, looking for somebody to throw. He throws the wounded duck, and it's going to be intercepted by Robbie Au. And he's got more room. Can he pick up a blocker? He's going to slide down inside the 30 at about the 29. And Robbie Au has interception number 2. And you talk about the wounded duck. Credit the defense for putting on the pressure and making the hit, because Evans' pass never had a chance.
You can see here, he's moving around in the pocket, trying to get some eyesight. Here he just panics and throws it up for grabs.
But he did get hit.
Yeah, and then Robbie Au, very athletic interception. It's going to be tough to pick the player of the game. Robbie Au has had a great game, 2 interceptions. Kyle Hill, also Al's done some good stuff on offense.
Milner scored a couple of
touchdowns.
touchdowns.
Milner and Wood.
Yeah.
So, and now we have another injured player down. This is actually on the sideline, though. We're looking at that injured player. Looked more like a cramp than an injury as they're lifting his leg up. So we'll check back in on that in a second.
All right, 1st and 10 now, going the other way for Las Lomas. Still a lot of time left. And this one's going to be number 22, Grayson Bromstad. And he's got maybe a yard. It's out across the 30 to about the 31. And we talk about the numbers that Las Lomas piling up. Coming into today, Dan, 136 yards passing per game, just 88 yards rushing per game. Did a lot better than that, and averaging 30 points per contest. And already, there's still almost a quarter to go. They've already got 42.
Well, they have to be over 400 yards of total offense.
So way over their averages here tonight, and Doug Longero's got to be happy about that. Hit and stopped in the backfield that time. A nice tackle. And that was number 24, Julian Archuleta, catching Hill in the backfield, and the Knights will lose some yardage. So you got to credit the Bulldogs, Dan. They're still playing hard. Of course, that last drive, they they had to have felt like, Dan, on that last drive, we've got to get a touchdown here if we have a chance to win. But still not playing like they're out of it here.
This will take one of those Texas YouTube ending video type endings, though, for them to come back. They'd have to score 4 times.
Wood rolling, fires, got a man at the 40, finally hit and stopped. Johnny Marinchak, number 6, making his first catch of the game, and that will be a first down for the Knights. So the clock will stop as they reset the chains. But the Knights able to keep it alive, and it's just one of those situations, Dan, for Alhambra, and it just doesn't seem to matter what the situation is. They just can't get off the field defensively.
And they haven't since late, early on it was pretty even. As a matter of fact, they struck quickly, went right back down when they got that lead, but since then, they really have not. And Wood is almost at the 200-yard mark, 198 yards tonight with only 7 incompletions.
Right up the middle this time, couple of yard gain will bring up second down. Wanted to check the Broncos. We're hoping to have them here on our schedule coming up later in the season. And Tebow, the ball carrier that time. Look at the Broncos in their log, Dan. They went to Novato, beat San Marin 33-26. We saw that game against Antioch, a very competitive ball game there. Antioch won at 25-22. We're looking at Northgate's schedule, and then they whipped Alameda 52-0. And this is piling into the middle of the field. Going to pick up some more yards. Going to bring up a little bit short of that first down. There's Tebow, and it's going to leave him about 2 yards short of a first down.
Well, we're starting to see some substitutions and some new names and some new numbers in there.
So you look at the Broncos at 3-1, Dan, playing Fremont tonight. They'll get Concord on the 5th.
Yeah, their league doesn't start till next week.
And you look at some of the numbers, averaging 34 points a game over there on the other side of Walnut Creek. So things have certainly turned around for the Northgate Broncos. Good for them. I formation behind Wood, going up the middle, and a nice hit there, but it's going to be a first down run. And Kevin Sockwell providing the sock that time, but Tebow picks up the first down anyway. So out across the Bulldog 45, down to the Dog 44, and a fresh set of downs upcoming. And they wind the clock here as the chains get set on the far side. So first down at 10 as we wind under 7:10 to go here in this game. Handoff, Tebow again to the 40, and just keeps the legs churning, Dan, and that time kind of had his back turned to the defense as he was trying to spin out of a tackle, and they just kept plowing forward.
Well, one of the nice things is that the starting quarterback and line is still in. Very seldom do the reserves get to play with the first string line, and so you're running behind Stom, and you're running behind the other big kid, number 54, Wolf, and Sanson, and all those guys are in there. And you're getting, that doesn't happen very often. You usually play with the other second stringers.
Yeah, the guys that you take snaps with during the course of the practice week. And a nice run here, breaking tackles inside the 20, 15-10, touchdown, Las Lomas, and Zach Fulks. And Zach Fulks, his second touchdown. Remember, Dan, he had that 47-yard touchdown catch earlier in the game, or a 47-yard TD, a catch. And now he gets the big run here for a touchdown. So you talk about trying to pick a player of the game. Boy, take your pick. There's so many of them. Here's Fulks going off tackle, about 37 yards. Look at that cut.
And Milner made another nice block, involved once again. And then after he got past that last wave, it was wide open to the end zone.
He broke a couple tackles, made that nice cut, and Milner just really eliminated a defender for him. And then Fulks takes the difference about the distance, about 37 yards on that one. So he's got a 47-yard TD catch, and he's got about a 37-yard touchdown run.
I think the ultimate tale of tonight is that Las Lomas has just done a better job at the line of scrimmage blocking.
Much better.
We have another injured player. As I mentioned, it always seems to happen here in the second half. And then their backs. Poyadu has hit guys, but he usually when he's been away, it's basically been because he's ran by guys. Las Lomas has made a lot of cuts and contact beyond the line of scrimmage and then been able to gain even more yardage. Poyadu is a very powerful back, and like I said, he had a great first half, but in the second half, as you mentioned, they've only had the ball probably for about 10 plays. And I think Las Lomas is back on track, Tony. I don't think any of them will have to. Other than the one guy who made the block in the back on the punt, I think most of them are safe from running stairs for the next week.
So at Acalanes next week, and then home against Dublin and Campolindo upcoming for the Knights as we're into DFAL play. And I mentioned earlier, Dan, even though that 1-3 non-conference record, I figured we'd see a different Knights team once the league play started, and we've certainly seen a powerhouse tonight. And you give Alhambra some credit; they played a nice first half, but again, Dan, defensively, when you can't stop the other team, sooner or later, it's pretty much good night, Irene.
Is that your good night, Irene? That's yours.
So it was an old show too.
Dave Jackson would know. He was in high school back then. That was his senior prom theme. Good night, Irene. Actually, for Dave, it was good night, Dave, is what the theme was.
Snap, hold, and Howard yet again. And it is good. 49-17, as this one has really gotten away from the Bulldogs. But you got to give the Knights credit. They've really taken control of this one, and they lead it big. 49-17 in favor of Las Lomas right here on WCTV.
Did you hear that? Now, I know this will be over when we get to it, but they just announced the score from Acalanes. It's Campo 34, Acalanes 33.
Wow.
5 minutes left. Wow.
Wow. And we did not get that on the out-of-town scoreboard.
Well, it's one thing we get around here. If you get into some of these the smaller leagues where you don't have the big powers, you get some of these crazy games. You don't really see that a lot in the EBAL. It usually seems to only come when the powers play the powers. Very seldom is there you pick up the paper and go, Livermore beat Monte Vista? That just doesn't happen ever. You know what I mean? Or Amador used to kind of be up there, but not as much anymore. They beat San Ramon. But in this, sometimes you'll pick up the paper and you'll see a score and you'll go, what?
Well, I'll tell you what I like to see, Dan, is things that what the Broncos have done, what the Concord Minutemen have done. When those teams kind of come out of nowhere and they've been down for so long, and then all of a sudden they're not just good, they're very good and very competitive. I love to see that. Here's the kickoff, and the Dogs will take it from about the 22-yard line, first down. It's just nice to see some of these schools that they're down for so long. Antioch has come back and played very nicely. And we're hearing Acalanes, and of course we're reporting stuff to you that you're already going to know.
But you never know. Some people might be on vacation,
That's true.
And they get back and they'll hear that. So just for those of you that maybe weren't home and didn't check the internet and or the newspaper, Acalanes is now ahead in a game that was played 3 days ago when you're watching this.
But Acalanes traveling across that highway. And I had Acalanes coming in at 3-0.
Yeah, they got to be 4-0 because they have 6 league games.
Yeah, Rudy has played 4 games, so I'm going to go with Dave Jackson. Hardis, Abdurrahman. Boy, that's a tough one.
That's one of those ones you got to look at a few times, Tony.
Abdurrahman.
I think it's Abdurrahman.
Abdurrahman.
Yes.
I've said it like 4 different ways tonight. Anyway, Hardis on the carry that time. 5:43 and counting. Another handoff and hit before getting back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, I want to know who makes those decisions on names. Think about this in the NHL.
Oh,
by the way, I'm really mad at all the people in the NHL right now. But I'm just saying, Derek Roy, Patrick Waugh, spelled the same way.
Yeah.
Who makes that decision? Is there someone in the government somewhere that makes that decision on like Brett Favre? No, it's Favre. Favre. Whatever. You're not saying it right. And they wonder why we have literacy problems here in America.
Say it the way it's spelled. And here is a nice carry for Julian Archuleta, and he's going to get a first down.
Number 32, Joe Reagan.
Giving Joe Raymea making the stop that time. Nice
By the
carry
way,
going down the field.
also, Tony, it was reported, I didn't hear the score, but they said Dublin was beating Miramani. What did we say?
Yeah, there you go.
With a minute to go. So I'm wondering how they're getting all this information.
Friends at the other games with cell phones.
I guess so.
All right, Evans still in there. I formation behind him. Dogs looking to add some cosmetic surgery to this one, and that ball was taken high, and then the hit came in, and that's one of those times where you put your wide receiver in danger. That's Bradley Garcia, Dan, and boy, you hate when those wide receivers have to go up with their arms up. They are totally exposed, and that's where those big hits come in. Take another look. This ball thrown up high. Garcia makes the catch, hit and slammed to the ground. Ouch. Boy, and on that tackle, number 5, that was Cole Gravitt.
That could have been on that hit while he was up in the air because his body just violently snapped back, and we hope that he's okay. But I got to tell you, Tony, I'm not making light of this situation. In the NFL, he probably already got fined for that.
You know, and the problem is with the NFL now, Dan, is sometimes I'm not sure what's a legal hit and what's not legal.
The one this week, the big one, was the Golden Tate hit in the Seattle-Dallas game, which looked to everyone, including the guy who got hit,
like that's
to
just
being
a regular
great play, and he got fined for it.
You know, I just.
So what? Now, obviously, you can't fine high school kids. I mean, you can penalize them, but
Suspend
that was a
them.
clean hit.
Can't
He
do
was
that.
up in the air. He hit him.
There was nothing illegal about that. That is just a typical type of football.
That's what you
play.
try to explain, and that's the hard thing for parents and administrators to accept is that injuries are going to happen in a game where this kind of violence is part of the game.
No way to avoid it.
Oh, Dave Jackson's coming up with
that voice that you can barely hear is Dave Jackson.
The voice in the background. So Dave is saying that in a college game, if your helmet comes off, you have to leave the game for a play. Now, I don't know. Maybe they think it's a concussion thing or whatever.
Is it an overreaction to a situation where we're getting so many injuries? And now look at some of these guys. But look at some of these guys now that you're hearing about that they're passing away 10, 12 years earlier.
Right. Well, we had all
than
that,
than the regular average citizen. And that's just a cumulative effect of so many hits to the body, brain injuries.
Well, he got up, and that's a good thing to see, and he's up walking on his own. Well, it happened in hockey. We had the deaths of 3 guys who were known enforcers or fighters in hockey. All died within 9 months of each other. Was it part of the game? Was it part of the you get hit in the head so many times that what caused those deaths? The same thing in football. Dave, we can't read your writing on a good day, so what makes it, you think?
A player of the game.
Oh, Matt wants to know who the player of the game is.
Okay, we're going to have to figure that one out.
We
There's
have
so
to look
many.
At the stats right now.
Robbie Al made a couple of interceptions.
I'm going to say
Milner had a couple of touchdowns.
I think it's Wood or Al. Those are my picks.
I'm going to go down here in a couple of minutes, and we'll have to figure this out and get some stats. Here's a nice tackle in the backfield that time. Beautiful play. That looked like number 7, Nick Abramson, able to get inside and make that nice shoestring tackle here to break up that play. So Las Lomas looking good on both sides of the football, and Dan, their defensive struggle.
See, that time you
fighting
could
off
see
the
it.
block, getting inside.
Sometimes you don't always see it on the replay because of the fact that we're not as high. Like I said, you can't see the gaps. But that time you could just see Abramson from the snap, shot right through the gap from his linebacker spot, came in, made a nice play. And you see more of that as the game wears on. You don't do that on the first or second play. You've got to see what they're going to give you. You got to see what they're going to do in certain formations. And obviously in this game, Las Lomas has reacted better. What was that? Just mass hysteria?
No. That was the Las Lomas band playing the Jaws theme with a scream at the end. And there's a snap going awry over the head of Evans, who makes a nice pickup, rolls to his right, fires deep down the field, and he's got a man for a big play. What a play by Josh Evans down to the 19-yard line, turning what looked like disaster into a big catch. Caught by Grant Hill, number 18. And look at Evans just very coolly making the pickup and racing away from the defense. He had Grant Hill wide open there on that far sideline.
And that's
that turned
not
out to
Grant
be a great
Hill
play.
to be confused with the great NBA star Grant Hill. He's.
I don't think anybody was confused about that.
Dave was. But, wow, Evans has. Now, see, this is kind of unusual, Tony. We were not expecting 400 yards of passing in this game.
Unbelievable.
And now we have over 800 yards of total offense in this game.
And now a timeout being called by the Bulldogs. So they burn a timeout. They've got 2 left, 2:29 to go. See if they can add another touchdown here. So we had a close game through most of that first half. And actually it was 28-17 at the half, the West Coast Jamboree. That'll be December 27th through the 31st. And there's that contact information, 706-2802 and westcoastjamboree.com, the best in girls high school basketball.
And that's played at multiple gym sites around the Bay Area.
A ton. It's going to be all over the place.
Multiple sites is what they call that.
You're going to have a chance to see plenty of great high school girls basketball and some of the best teams from all over the place. And, of course, some local teams as well. So we'll certainly have that local flavor for you. And a chance to see some wonderful high school basketball players.
I like the full-service score. Could you give us the Giants score over there in the scoreboard while you're at it? It just updated, 39-34 Acalanes, 1 minute to go. Campo on the 6.
Wow.
Great game there.
Yeah, that was a great game. Evans going to hand off, draw play. This one works pretty well. Cutting to the outside, trying to turn the corner at the 10, down to about the 6-yard line. And that is number 12, Hardis.
It's your buddy.
Abdurrahman.
Yeah,
Hardis
you got it.
Abdurrahman. And I got it that time. Hardis coming here out of the I formation. And that time they did get the lanes. And look at the big block up front. Julian Navarro really eliminating that interior defensive lineman, pushing him to the inside and really helping to spring the ball carrier that time. You know, the linemen rarely get mentioned, Dan, but if they don't do their jobs, the offense just doesn't move.
Exactly.
Evans, handoff. Scampering in. Is Alhambra going to get in that time? I think that was number 25. Chizone Foster. And did you hear that? The public address announcer didn't even try with that first name.
Didn't even try his first time. I heard that. Foster, the ball carrier.
That's, I believe it's Chizone, Ciozanne. I'm going.
You know what? I think we got to go. I think we got to go, Las Lomas. I think we got to go, Tony, with Robbie Al, because we hardly ever give a guy on the defensive end. He caught 5 passes for 86 yards. He ran for 12 yards, and he intercepted twice. I think we got to go with some defense, and there's a touchdown for you.
Touchdown, Bulldogs. And there is Foster taking it in from 4 yards out, and the Dogs add some cosmetic surgery to this one. And now it's 49-23. And I think I'm going to step out, and I've got some numbers here for Robbie Al. And I think he's going to be our player of the game. I'm going to go down to talk to him and turn it over here to Dan Wall.
Oh, my goodness. Will you tell Dave
Jackson, kid.
Tell Dave Jackson he's contributed enough tonight.
I'm sending you out the door, son.
He can contribute more at the nation's post-game pie ceremony. So Tony's going to head down for our post-game interview.
1 minute, 33 seconds remaining in the contest. Las Lomas Knights,
49-24 with 1 minute 33 to go, and I'm sure we're going to see some more of the second stringers here, but a great game so far. Let's kind of recap the stats while we have a chance here before Tony goes down. For Las Lomas, Wood is 13-19 for 198 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's also ran for 27 yards. No interceptions. Hill, 19 carries for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns.
We have a final. Dublin beat Miramani 29-21.
Wow. So Dublin has won their game against Miramani tonight in the DFAL. Here's a replay of the touchdown by Foster. That's a nice little scamper. We're seeing some good action out of the backups tonight.
Backups are good.
Yeah. We mentioned Milner had a good game, 3 catches, 24 yards, also the onside kick recovery. Al, though, you got to give a guy who had 2 interceptions on defense, 5 receptions on offense for 86 yards, and 4 runs for 12 yards. that kind of versatility and also 2 interceptions, and they were good interceptions that stopped drives. We'll give him the player of the game, even though Wood could very easily be the player of the game with his
Hill wasn't bad either.
225 yards of total offense. So we'll give you Alhambra's here in a minute, and then after the ball game, we'll just recap the total stats for you after Tony's done with his interview. Onside kick on the ground and recovered by number 57, Bruner. So at this point, you would think Las Lomas would just want to run this one out. I know everyone's waiting with bated breath to hear the Campolindo Acalanes score, Dave.
Yeah. Campo had it on the 6 with no timeout, and it was a minute to go, so a little luck will always help.
It looks like they're in the victory formation, which means we've won and we're not going to do anything else right now, as long as you don't call timeouts and muck this all up. And I don't think they're gonna. So Wood, let's talk a little bit about Alhambra while we have a chance. Evans, despite the 2 interceptions, was 10 of 14 for 200 yards tonight, and his big receiver was Little, who caught 4 passes for 101 yards. The rushing side, we haven't seen a lot of Poyadu because, frankly, they didn't have the ball, and they also didn't have much of a chance to win, but he did have 137 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half, finishes with 13 carries for 150 yards. And those were the big players tonight for Alhambra individually. We'll have the team statistics after the ball game. The clock is running. It's inside of 44 seconds. Las Lomas is going to win this game. They're going to go to 2-3 overall, 1-0 in the DFAL. Alhambra will fall to 1-4 and go to 0-1 in the DFAL. Las Lomas back on track after last week's ugly loss to Northgate, and of course Alhambra now struggling to get back to where they want to be on the winning side of the ball. And I don't think we'll see Alhambra again this year, but we could see Las Lomas again down the road depending on what happens. And that should be the final snap of the ball game, and that'll be the final score tonight, 49-24 Las Lomas. We're going to step aside and we'll be back with a post-game interview, final stats, and a wrap-up after this.
Last year, over 1,000 Walnut Creek locals lent a hand to build a better community. Join us again this year for Community Service Day on Saturday, October 6th. The day will kick off with a pancake breakfast at Heather Farm Park at 7:30 a.m. Then join one of 50 different projects suitable for children and adults happening all over the city starting at 9 a.m. or noon. Each project will take 4 hours or less to complete. Online registration is now open on the city's website. Go online now and find a cause you care for and lend a hand for a better Walnut Creek.
This stuff is so not.
And the lights going out here at Las Lomas. But we're with Robbie Au, our player of the game for Walnut Creek TV. And Robbie, a great performance tonight by the Knights. And just tell us about the whole team performance in the win.
It was great to see us bounce back, after last week, which should have went better. But a great win this week, and the whole team did really well.
2 interceptions for you. One should have been a touchdown. A little disappointing that one getting called back.
Yeah, it's fine. I saw that play on film, 28 going out on the bubble, and I just jumped it. And then, I saw green grass ahead of me, but to know that my teammates are downfield blocking for me, that still feels good.
Yeah, they're trying. Coach Longero, I'm sure, not very happy with the way things went following that Broncos game. I'm sure he's going to be a lot happier after the performance tonight.
Yeah, I think he'd be a little bit lighter mood, but we still have to work hard, it doesn't end here. We still have a long season ahead of us.
Congratulations on the win. First DFAL victory coming up here in the 2012 season. The Knights take care of the Bulldogs. Let's go upstairs now and Dan Wall.
Okay, we're clear. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Back up in the booth, Dan Wall with some final stats for you. 803 yards of total offense in tonight's game. 399 for Alhambra on 199 running and 200 passing. Dave Jackson, that's what you call a balanced offense.
That's it.
And for Las Lomas, 206 running and 198 passing. So very balanced tonight. A lot of offense, a lot of big plays. 18-17. Alhambra actually had more first downs. Penalties hurt Las Lomas actually more than they did Alhambra. 6 for 40 for Alhambra, 6 for 70 for Las Lomas. And 2 turnovers, and that might be the story of the game right there. The punt late in the first half, the 2 turnovers in the second half. You add those up, maybe give Alhambra a couple more chances. They might have been there at the end. But they lose 49-24. It's been a pleasure bringing you another broadcast here on Walnut Creek Television. For our great crew, for Matt Bolander, our producer, for Dave Jackson on stats, for Tony Schultz, this is Dan Wall saying good night from Walnut Creek, where Las Lomas beat Alhambra 49-24. This has been a production of Walnut Creek Television. Until next time, we'll be seeing you.